Oh wait, that's not the right.
Actually, there's no sound.
Well, presumably I am next if you're pointing towards me, and that's how that math works. Okay.
Yes.
Now there's sound.
Today I have contacts in because I was playing VR earlier, and now I'm going to be a mouse.
Hello, I'm Jordan. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. I am going to be a mouse. I'm probably going to be someone's tender paw. Yes.
I thought you said Tinder.
Yes, I'm going.
She's going to be a Tinder
that kind
paw.
of game?
Yes, of mice. Okay, I'm done. Zach, it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I will also be playing a mouse.
Hi, I'm Dana, and I will also be playing a mouse.
I wanted to play a ferret, but they wouldn't let me.
Zach, is it funnier if you go first or if I go first?
I don't know. I think let's lead with yours, and then I'll fill in. How about that?
Valkyrie, did you have an idea for a thing?
Not yet.
Okay, so
I'm gonna just quickly take a look at that PDF right here.
Well, one of the things about Mouse Guard is that each crew, I'm not sure what it's called, each patrol can have at most one patrol leader, and then there's a right. There's got to be a patrol leader, and then there's a guard captain, but that person is like super high up in the Mouseketeer ranking.
Okay.
So most characters are patrol guard mice or patrol guards, right?
Okay. There
must always be a patrol leader king, right? And if one doesn't happen, another patrol leader king from another realm comes in and steals their crown. I'm sorry. I read chat. So I am thinking about being a patrol leader that was promoted because of their exceptional prowess in the field. They slew an owl in Mortal Kombat and brought back like an eye and a beak or whatever, and now he wears the beak around.
Would the beak be the size of his body?
I mean, yeah, it's like
pretty close, I would say. Maybe he could use it as armor.
It's an owl beak. A halberg. Damn
Shield.
it!
He's got a shield that's made out of the top half of an owl beak.
But that's right. I took down a fucking owl, guys.
Uh-huh.
You should follow me. So after picking a patrol leader, I got to figure out where I'm from, right? Okay.
We do all the steps.
Mhm. Mhm. I'll do a patrol guard. Well, based on the other one shot. Hmm. I would say maybe my fighting ability. Yeah, seems to be my role. Yeah, that's true. I think it would be helpful in this.
I mean, I can go next. I'm also planning on playing a patrol guard, who is, I guess, since I don't have to be the fighter, I will probably be the old guy who knows stuff. Not the lore mouse, then like the grizzled like lifetime campaigner that's like got the good mouse senses about how to not die out in the wilds, maybe.
Or like a survivalist.
Yeah, like a survivalist or maybe a hunter of things. Well, I already told Twitter that I'm gonna kill an owl, so
So I guess you got to do that.
at this point, right? It's in the books.
You can't
Yeah,
lie
like
on
I.
Yeah.
I do.
No, it goes back to that one Blaze in the Dark episode where Zach said he wasn't gonna stab anybody that one Blaze episode, and then
And then shit stabbed everyone.
I think if you go back and you check the audio, I said I wasn't going to not stab anyone, and no one was unstabbed. So I am.
Yes. So I am playing Dash. I still haven't actually scrolled through the PDF yet, but I would like to be some sort of scout. Or okay, great. Well, I don't know. I was thinking of being like kind of a courier of some sort, like a messenger.
Yep.
Hooray. Yeah.
Going out and not
Mhm.
staying in and getting fat for winter.
Yeah. I'm very small and I run very fast, and I just really like the adrenaline from going out where there might be predators. Yes. I think maybe it's kind of an argument of who gets to mentor me. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay, then I
that
was
is-
probably assigned to Zach's character.
Okay.
Just because.
Well, I mean,
Hmm.
but I'm the highest ranking mouse here.
Oh,
Yeah.
just to the sort of the dynamic that Mike and I have already sort of got in mind, and don't think you need to change to fit into this. But I think it would definitely work better if you were assigned to him and he
Okay.
was terrible at it, and
Yeah.
therefore I kept stepping in.
Yeah, and then you were like, but I lived longer than him, so. Okay.
Well, I mean, either way, right? If you're assigned
Yeah.
to Zach, I'm gonna be all like, "But no, that's a clerical error. You know, I'm gonna get it fixed in post."
Mhm.
Constantly pulling rank and throwing your weight around, trying to get this.
No, you say you're gonna fix it in post, and then you send me off to go deliver that.
That's right. Come back when you're assigned to me.
Are you sure you're not named Post instead of Dash? Especially if you do mail?
No, maybe I
pretty
do.
funny.
Maybe I do a bit of dine and dashing too.
All right.
Um,
So it sounds like everyone has a concept in mind and their guard rank. And everyone should have a character sheet assigned in Roll20 as well. It looks like some of you have started filling stuff out.
Hmm.
Oh, I really should name this character Shit Whiskers, right?
Damn it, Mike.
I feel like the Valkyrie. I played a character named Shitfingers in a different game. It's
Oh.
not
Okay.
it's not as gross as
like-
it sounds.
Okay.
He had bombs that exploded in his face constantly, but like aggressively towards other people. It's one of the ways I killed Jordan once.
No, you tried to.
Yeah, you didn't know when Burb walked away from that campaign. Was one of the two people who walked away from that campaign. The other one was the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, we did have 5 players.
I got carried away. Literally.
What do I need to know about age?
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, you're a young teen. It doesn't have like mechanical effects or anything. But as a tender paw, if you are a tender paw, you start with Pathfinder at 2, Scout at 2, and Laborer at 2. And you start with 2 will and 6 health.
Which is a lot of health.
Mhm.
It's a lot of health. Not a lot of will, but a lot of health.
Okay. I'm sorry. What were this? What page was it?
That's
I have
on
the PDF.
page 300. Also, this is one of the nice PDFs where the like PDF
Yeah.
page lines up with the page on the page.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really sweet. Now that I actually am on the proper page.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
So it's the top right side, Tender Paw, and it says Tender Paws are fresh recruits. That lists off abilities, skills, and then starting age.
You?
Do we gain skills as we play, or is this basically
You'll get more through character creation.
okay?
You won't actually gain skills. We probably won't be playing for long enough
Yeah.
in play, but you can gain skills in play.
Is there a mouse name in the book that's sort of like David or Herbert?
There is a list of names that I was looking at. Let's see if I can find it again.
That's on page 310,
Nice, thank you.
where there is a list of page names on 310.
There's Hannah D with a DY. Hannity or Henson.
I'm looking at the Roll20 character sheet. Is Labor a wise?
No, you can add skills to the list as well with the
No, I'm
the
just.
add button.
No, I just mean with the skills that are listed.
No, it's not. It's not a. It's just not listed in the list for some reason.
Oh. Okay. Neighbor.
But any wise will be thing dash wise.
Yeah. That's what I...
I'm going to be anyways.
Anybody else having? It looks like we're getting stuff filled out. And yeah, your nature starts at 4. And your nature is, I believe it's things you can just replace rolls with it. But if it's not running away, climbing, or hiding, I want to say, then there's a chance that you lose your nature. And if you hit 10 nature, if you go too high or if you go too low, then you are effectively no longer a player character. You are either too mousy or too not mousy.
So, for nature, it's kind of like the luck roll in Tales from the Loop, or...
Kind of. But instead of rolling, like, say you had 2 dice and fight, you could roll nature instead to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to sort of call on my mousy nature, and this seems against it. So there's a chance that you tax it and lose a die for future nature rolls. And it's also just not guaranteed. It's not like a reroll or anything. So does anyone... where is it here? There's the list of things that you are talented at. The life experience? Or has anybody figured out where they were born?
I'm thinking Lockhaven for Cinder.
Okay. So born into the guard.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think I'm going to go with Elmos.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Elmos too, and that was the reason why I was assigned to,
Okay.
To Angus. Angus John.
You always start at 2 for skills, right?
Yeah, there's no 1 die in skills.
Okay.
So if you get to add a new skill, it comes in at 2, and then it increases by 1.
We'll go with Grass Lake.
Okay. So Elmos is a once thriving city known for its medicinal moss. And so if you've picked a thing, you can pick 1 skill and 1 trait. Or if you have the skill, then you increase it by 1.
Yeah, I just went with Harvester because it kind of fit the theme.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to find things.
Well, and being alert, I assume, comes in handy. Sorry, and Mike, you said you were from Grass Lake?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see that on the list, but we can probably come up with something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was on... Oh, MG2Es. My fault. Wrong book. How about...
What were you looking for out of it? Because, I mean, we can...
I should have looked at the PDF instead. How about... what is Guard's Honor?
Guard's Honor, is that one of the traits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the ones from Lockhaven.
Yeah. Let's see.
Actually, what is that?
See if I can find the list of traits.
Only 250, 255, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I was looking at them earlier.
Guard's Honor. Those who live or were raised in Lockhaven have a special relationship with the Guard. They know its inner workings, its needs, and travails. Living so closely with the Guard earns these mice a trait called Guard's Honor. They are more intimately connected to the financial and social body of the Guard and are trusted to a greater degree. Should a mouse ever betray that trust, they are cast out of Lockhaven and perhaps even beyond the scent border.
Good God.
That's West Point. That's why they gave you command.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
Nice. Wise is for Mike's character. Politics wise. Brown nosing wise.
Yeah, I was looking for the brown nosing location.
That would be Lockhaven. That would be a good one.
Well, I mean, like, Grass Lake has skills insectrist and militarist,
Okay.
and I thought that militarist would be interesting. But I'm happy to go with Lockhaven because
If you want to go with one of those, that's fine.
Nah, it seems
Okay.
difficult. Let's just do what we've got in this book here.
Okay. So for being from Lockhaven, you can get a bonus to either Weaver or Armorer for skills, and trait of either Generous or Guard's Honor.
Okay. Presumably, Zach is going to be jacked up in armor, or Cinder.
Well, yeah, Cinder might be. I'm not.
Okay. We'll go with Weaver.
Okay.
I travel light.
So
Also, probably old and weak.
do you often patrol like in a group, or do they often send you out alone, Angus?
I mean, in my head,
Mhm.
when Dash got assigned to Angus, they called him in like that one cop in the movie that never works with a partner, and they assigned Dash to him, and like we're now in a buddy cop movie, and they surrounded us with other people to play off of. Was in my head.
I kind of feel like we're a punishment to each other.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that for sure.
Does
Also,
Dash?
like, are you getting old, and like they got to find somebody to retire you with?
Yeah, like I maybe what they're looking for is like I'm like that guy, like they nobody wants to work with, but it's super important that I'm doing what I'm doing. So like I'm now training Dash to do the thing so that they can push me out the door.
So what you're saying is this is actually just a very complicated movie tie into Looper.
Yeah, they do one jump backwards through time, and they accidentally go too far forward, and now they're mice.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
that's how that
52.
works.
I'm 52 and nice one. Nice.
And yeah, just assume the years port over exactly like human years, because otherwise that's way too much work.
I have seen all 4 seasons. Is how old I am.
Diggity.
What a, oh my god.
Hmm?
There's 4 seasons, good lord.
Yeah.
What page does everything start on? Is it 25?
Define everything.
Crediting character.
200 is where, or 299 is where Kerrigan starts.
Gotcha.
Does anyone know what their parents did, either in Elmos or Lockhaven? Since apparently we're from 2 cities.
Mine were cartographers.
Nice.
Mine were carpenters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I'm thinking what makes them.
I was gonna say, do you remember your parents?
That's a good question, actually, right?
Have you forgotten
Like,
the face of your father?
Maybe my parents were apiarists
Okay.
that had a terrible accident when I was very young.
What happened? They tripped and fell on a bee.
Or they were like
no.
mauled by giant bees.
I think they would do just normal bees to them.
Yeah, so like
Exactly.
the mice keep bees, but it's important to remember that these bees are like barrel sized. Barrel sized, and they fly and they sting.
What's
That
the
credit's
lying
pretty
skills,
dangerous.
that manipulator?
Yes.
I'm going with. I think I'm going with Insectress just because it's more pointlessly dangerous.
Okay. So yeah, the difference between apiarist and insectarist is, so the bees are useful for honey and wax, but like beetles are used for labor, like they're beasts of burden, and so like the beetles pull carts around for the mice to ride on and like move supplies around. Spiders and silkworms provide silk. Yeah, stuff like that. Ants do like very minor labor, like they'll pull around like, you know, small objects for you. So they're yeah. Go ahead.
You talking? Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in early.
No worries.
I was just going to ask if we needed to pick a talent or talents as well.
I
Possibly.
don't think that's until like the end.
But I'm just kind of going down the list here, and under life experience,
Yes.
with parents,
Mhm.
but talent before that.
Yes, there is. Yep. Yeah. And tender paws and guard captains choose 2. Guard mice, patrol guard, and patrol leaders choose 1.
Using hunter,
Okay.
just because I really like the grizzled old dude who fights owls.
Mhm.
Give me that guy.
I think I'm actually an orphan.
Diggity. I mean, who raised you?
Were your parents killed by insects too?
Oh, this sounds like a superhero movie.
Most of our games do about this point in characterization.
Maybe they did.
The
and
tragic
maybe,
cast.
maybe they did, and like you kind of like bullied your way into like getting me to be your tender paw.
Oh god, yeah, that completely changed the dynamic of the relationship, but I like it. I like it. Really good.
Maybe like I secretly appreciate it, but like I'm basically really annoyed with you and I just want to run off somewhere.
Makes me a terrible person because like my idea of keeping you safe is dragging you into the wilderness to fight owls. I'm a terrible parent.
Well, so I mean, you weren't raised on the streets or as an orphan or anything, Dash.
No.
So, what your adoptive parents? What did they do?
They were carpenters. But
Okay.
I was gonna say my parents recently died from a carpentry accident.
Carpentarians.
It was a barn raising gone horribly wrong.
Well, it was a barn raising gone horribly wrong because a barn owl came by.
Yeah.
Suddenly the dragon fight music starts playing, and he's just like, done. Skyrim.
But you know that has to be like the opening scene of this movie now, though, right? Like Dash's Batman moment when
Oh my god.
on like fall to the owl and her tools fall on the ground and bounce in slow motion, and then she swears vengeance on owl kind.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, Zach said that, and then I just imagined my mouse mom's like one single pearl falling out into the fire.
It's a pearl necklace, but it's 3 pearls and they're enormous.
No, I was thinking one pearl. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so your mother is Mouse Flava Flav.
So what does weaving do?
Sorry, which?
Weaving.
I think that's like making clothes.
Weave things? I don't know if you're familiar. It's a real life skill that exists.
Wait, no. I buy things from Amazon.
Oh, are you paid in company script? Is that how that works?
Yes.
A weaver can manufacture fabric and create cloaks, aprons, blankets, sheets, and tapestries.
That doesn't sound very exciting.
It doesn't, but does it sound like Devon?
That's the problem. It doesn't. What happened? Devin lied about killing an owl, so maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he killed the owl, but he was just lying about killing it, not him.
Oh, I'm
Well,
gonna
that
include
is
needle
possibly
felting
fun.
as a skill, just as like to make a giant plushy thing that people stab.
Sorry, so did everybody get their talents?
I'm going through the list right
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
If you pick one that you already have, you just add 1 to it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Up to a maximum of 6.
All right.
Oh, I picked manipulation
Okay. Nice.
for my natural talents.
Uh,
And then you're gonna pick it again, right?
under the
Yeah.
how do you convince people that you're right or to do what you need?
Yeah.
Is,
Manipulation.
is that how you lead? I also want to point out that oratory or orator is like bloviating.
Okay, I think I might be doing this wrong because that sounds amazing. Let me go back. I picked 2 because I'm a patrol leader, right?
No, guard mice, patrol guard, and patrol leaders choose 1.
For convincing people that you're right?
For
No,
the
no.
area where you're naturally talented.
Right.
I had a little bit here.
Oh, patrol guard.
I'm naturally talented at manipulating, but I lead by orating.
Okay. So yeah.
But I
Oh,
also
patrol
could-
leader and guard captains choose to. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I have to start over. I've been doing this entirely.
Okay.
Sorry, that was quick.
Take all the points that are in manipulator and put it in order.
No. Manipulating sounds way more mousy. I mean, this kind of mousy. Sounds more
I
like
chose persuader, so
That's all. I mean, having a broad base of skills isn't a bad thing.
I think that's a good idea.
Definitely.
Also having a couple skills that you're very good at, so you can rely on them.
Yeah. So the skills, if you don't have it, it's like the one before where if it's a brand new thing, you put 2 points in it. Otherwise, put 1.
You don't start with 1. If it's blank, then you can't roll your skill, and you have to roll either health or will, depending on the skill.
No, I'm not talking about rolling. I'm talking about filling in the character sheet right now.
Yeah, nothing starts at 1. Everything, as soon as you're good at it, it starts at 2 and then increases by 1.
Yeah.
And then if you're utterly untrained, then you start rolling your health or your will.
I'm probably gonna go with Scout and Pathfinder.
Oh, we do have like the what's your specialty? Apparently, no two players can have the same skill.
That's very late. But yes, that is a thing coming up.
Oh, sorry. I
No worries.
Skipped ahead.
That's quite all right because we've got some people at varying levels. So, does anyone know whom they apprenticed with and what that mouse did?
I apprenticed with a laborer.
Mhm.
So I think that would be helpful because laborers have a variety of things that they can do.
Do you know the laborer's name?
Nemo.
So on page 310, there's a list of names, which I'm
You know what? I'm happy with Nemo.
Man,
okay.
Mouseman.
Mhm.
I think I apprenticed with an insectrist because it was my one of my parents before they were tragically killed.
No, so it's who the mentor is specifically within the guard. So your mentor in the guard also is the person who gives you your cloak. So they are like a big deal socially and culturally.
Then I think it would be very funny if I apprenticed with a healer and don't ever do that.
Nice.
But you can, and at some point in this adventure, Dash is going to be injured, and you'll have to.
Exactly. You have to like break out the kit and keep Dash from bleeding out.
After they disobey you.
Oh no. Goodbye, Dash.
I know. My character name switches from Dash to Crash.
Not.
Keep wanting to write it in Sectrix, and that's just a completely different vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's all I hear when you say that. By the way,
It's not super easy to say insectrist.
I cannot say apiarists.
Apiarist?
To save my life. I
apiarist.
can't do it. My brain won't make that sound.
Okay.
I'll just be calling them bee people.
Naturally talented at manipulation.
Not beeple.
Beep. Beep.
The beeple are making a lot of buzz lately.
Mwah.
It begins.
This does not stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
What does an archivist do?
They're
History, records.
they're also like the people who do the research. So like if you come to a library and you want to dig through stuff,
But it's its own skill, archiving.
I mean it's the whole thing. Archivist is also like working through the archives and finding the research you need.
Right, but if I take the skill, if my parents were archivists, and take the skill archiver or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it might not be on the list of skills, but you can just add it. What did your mentor stress in their training?
Mine was fighter.
Okay. How's it going, Dash?
Hello, Train. I was gonna say for specialty, because I'm a tender paw, I don't pick anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still thinking on the mentor stuff. Because initially in my head I was just gonna pick Angus, but I guess I can't.
So I think your mentor has to be someone in the patrol, because that's part of the deal. Is you are being instructed by one of these three fine people.
I thought it had to be an NPC. Is what I was.
Oh no!
What I thought. Okay, cool. I guess. So,
I got it.
Angus.
It could be me.
The mental image of my character is now congealing.
Oh, good.
Sylvester Stallone for Demolition Man. Destined to be a weaver. Actually a cop.
Good.
Did we already go over senior artisan?
That's your mentor. With whom did you apprentice for the trade? And then what did that person stress in training?
Oh, I see.
Mike?
What does Angus stress, Zach?
I think he's wandered off.
I thought he came back.
What's the question?
Who was your mentor?
My mentor was one of these names here has to sound Lunas.
Okay.
Something that sounds like Lumi or like
Yep.
and they saw my parents were weavers, and they took that to be a natural aptitude for weaving.
Okay.
So I spent most of my time making.
Well, and like that would have been your first gig with the mice. Like
Right.
you spent your tender paw days weaving.
Right, and I hated every minute of it. But I'm crazy good at it.
Mm-hmm. Or at least you were.
Yeah. Like my character's got 4 weaving.
Okay. You're
So,
still
like-
very good.
Yeah. And like I do it to de-stress, but it's like anger weaving.
Is it
Right.
de-stressing or just
That's-
So I
yes.
take my anger out on like the scarves and shit that I knit. And like they're really goddamn fancy.
Does it piss you off? Does it piss you off when they come out immaculate?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, that's so pretty. Did you make them? It's like, fuck you, here. Take it. Yes, it's
Get out of
fine.
my sight?
Get it out of my sight. I never want to see it again, you
my
fucking
God.
Philistine. It's terrible. I hate you.
I left the home to join the mouse guard. I'm like, I'm gonna fight with needles and shit and stab badgers and like moose,
Oh my God.
Mhm.
whatever. And like, oh, your
Stab a
fingers
moose.
are so nimble. Please make me a sweater. It's like, no, get me some shoes. Fuck. Here, go get some hemp to
Please
make
make me a
nice clothing
sweater.
with. No, I killed an owl. Look at this. I'm a guard now. Okay,
Wait a
yeah,
minute.
got it.
Do you just automatically start knitting and stuff when someone puts a needle right next to you?
Right, like,
So we can actually. There are actually mechanics for things that you do unconsciously in this game.
Oh my god.
yes,
That.
that is what Devin does.
So what did your mentor stress in their training?
Like, I really want it to be anything but weaving.
So I mean, it's weaving isn't an option for that list of
It's not an
skills.
I know. But like, so fighting is actually fighting, right?
Yes, fighter is fighting like mice and other things that like
Rules and things.
fight like mice. So weasels, yeah.
So, so what is my seamstress mentor like? Kind of grooming me to not have to do like they don't really want me to be a guard so much as a seamstress, What are they going to teach me about?
Well, I mean, there are weavers within the guard. Like, someone has to make the supplies. They
You
need...
could be a healer and then knit a healing blanket.
Or, I mean, like, did they teach you survivalist? Like, if you get caught in the woods in winter, which is normally an instant death sentence, here's how you, like, survive using weaving and other stuff that I'm going to teach you.
Here's how you knit a sweater from grass.
Or just, like, shelter. Here's how you make a canopy.
I mean, yeah, that'd make me real good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Is
Also, you choose 2 of these things that your guard mouse stressed you in.
oh geez, yeah.
The option
So-
could be Weather Watcher if you just like knitted and watched the sky the whole time, right?
Right. That's not what my character thinks they are, but I think that yes, survivalist and weather watching are what I'm gonna wind up picking.
Another cool thing about weather watching, so the way this game works is there's 2 turns. There's the GM turn in which I do horrible shit to you. And if you take intentional penalties, you can earn checks, which is how you do stuff on the player turn. So that's how you heal, that's how you take other actions, stuff like that. One of the things you can do on the player turn with Weather Watcher is be like, it looks nice today. And then I can't hit you with anything weather related the next GM turn. So it can be really useful for stuff like getting out of, like, in a longer campaign, it can be really useful for, like, solving environmental problems.
It says patrol leaders choose 2. Everyone else picks 1.
Yep.
So I picked
So
so good.
I was just gonna say for Dash, the really funny thing is I'm looking at this list
Yes.
and there's nothing on here that I can teach you a healer or a hunter. Not as good as me quite yet. But if I teach you to be a scout, like you would be better at it than me.
Yeah.
Just, like my eyes are going. I got bad knees. Like all 4 knees are bad.
Also, like, mouse guard mice tend to walk on just their hind legs. Like, they use their 4 legs to carry shit.
So yeah, like maybe I taught you scout, so you're like sneakier and more aware than I am, but only because like I know how that works. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. What is your scout skill at?
2.
Good.
Okay.
Pathfinder and survivalist skills are all at 2. My hunter and healer are 4 and 5. I could teach you to hunt. Like I could teach you to be an owl hunter if you would prefer. I mean, I think that's probably where I would want to do, but I think also my character probably just wants to make sure you don't get eaten by beetles because he's seen people eaten by beetles.
Yeah, I picked so far I have Pathfinder at 3, Scout at 4, Labor at 2, and Carpenter at 2.
Okay. Well, if you would like some hunter skill, I think I would probably be very interested to teach you that. I could also, like I said, I think it's very funny that a 2-rank scout person is teaching a 4-rank scout person how to be a 5-rank scout person. I really like the way that fleshes out how good I used to be at things and why they're trying to replace me. So I'll leave it up to you what you want to be better at.
I think I'm gonna keep Scout at 4 just to like emphasize that I am your replacement. Your light is flashing, but you're not making sound again.
I'm not making sounds anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
well.
And has anybody picked a specialty yet, other than Dash, who can't?
I'm the hunter.
Fighter.
It's on 305, Mike.
No, I know. I'm looking right at it.
Okay.
So we got a hunter and a fighter already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 2 is the bare minimum, and you're just not very good if you have a 2.
Yeah. So the way the resolution system works is I'll propose, like, I'll say, hey, there's a thing that gets in your way, and you propose a solution. Depending on how complicated or whatever your solution sounds, I say that sounds like this action, or you propose the action, then I say it's like an OB2 or an OB3. You roll your dice. 4s, 5s, and 6s count as a success, and if you tie the OB or better, then you get the thing. Otherwise, I get to whack you with a rolled up newspaper. So if you have a 2 OB, or if you have 2 in a skill and the OB of something is 2, which is the minimum, well, not the minimum, but like sort of the average, then you've got a 50-50 shot. Thereabouts.
So we have Cinder's great at fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angus is a hunter, and Dash is a scout. Do we have anybody good at healing?
I've got a 4 in it, just because my mentor was a.
That's pretty
Well,
good.
For this, I'm not a scout because I'm a tender paw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
but
doesn't get
your
a
scout's
special.
like a 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And my survival's already 4. So I could pick up weather watching for... What's instructor?
Instructor is teaching people things. Let's find the exact wording of the skill.
I have none of, by the way.
It's fine.
An instructor knows how to transmit skills to another character. Using the skill, you can give your student a test for an advancement in a skill. So you can basically make people skill up faster.
Okay. More valuable to
so
have
much.
that as 3, or weather watcher at 4, or survivalist at 5.
So instructor's probably not going to come up super quickly in this because it's a one-shot. But do you see, like, next to fighter, there's the 6 checkboxes with the P and the 5 with the F?
Yeah.
You need to pass 6 rolls and fail 5, and that improves your fighter.
Oh.
And so instructor, you can, during the player turn, I'm guessing, is like spend an action, one of your checks, to find someone that you instruct, and then you can give them either of those if you pass the test.
Okay.
The max
Often
is 5?
6.
6. Okay.
How often are we going to be using survivalist by the same token?
So the setting I'm saying is like it's very early spring, like maybe 2 weeks into spring. So I mean, it could
So we're not
conceivably come up.
Yeah, it's not. The food is not super plentiful. It could still get really cold at night. Not a great time to be a mouse yet.
All right, I'm going to take weather watcher.
Okay.
Just so I'm more well-rounded, more than specialized.
Cool. Let's scroll back down to the thing I was just at. Actually, let's type in a number. That seems faster. Cool. So everybody double check that you've got all the stuff you should have. And I'll give you a few seconds for that. And then we can answer. I'll ask everybody some questions, or I'll ask a question, and then I'll get everybody to answer in turn. And then afterwards, I'll tell you what that does to your mousy nature. Da 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 da. So all characters have a base nature of 3. Yeah. No, sorry, I messed up earlier. I said 4 earlier. Answer the following 3 questions to determine your final starting nature score, which is a really weird wording. The choices will limit some of your skill and trait choices later. And so, do you save for winter even if it means going without something now? Or do you use what you have when you need it? Mike?
I use what I have when I need it.
Okay. Jordan?
I also use what I have.
Angus?
I fight goddamn owls. I need it now.
Good. Cinder?
Yeah, it's better to use what you have now.
Okay.
Good thing this
So
is
we know what
sharing.
brings us all together, right?
So if you save for winter, increase your nature by 1. No. If you do not, you may take the bold, generous, or impetuous trait at 1.
What is the impetuous trait?
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
So the way traits work is you can use them. So if someone rolls like a skill, or if you're rolling a skill against someone who also has a character sheet, effectively, then it's a versus test. And so tying just means neither of you are getting what you want. You can use traits to break ties in your opponent's favor, but doing so earns you some narrative currency.
What is narrative currency?
It's the checks that I was talking about earlier, so it's extra actions on the player turn.
Oh, okay.
So it's not super going to come up in this because we've only got the one shot, but interesting. I don't know where that impetuous trait is.
It's not in impetuous, and it's not under traits at all.
Yeah.
If it's like Burning Wheel, it's just
It's-
is the thing that you are, right?
It makes me want it all that much more.
Done.
I'll choose bold.
Okay. The bold rush into action without a thought for their own safety. Daring stratagems and reckless abandon are hallmarks of the bold. Forethought and caution are not for these mice.
That's a good thing I'm good at fighting.
What are you
I'm
going with,
just a
Angus?
rat.
With bold as well. I'm impetuous. I'm too physically worn down to be actually impetuous, but I can be bold, right?
There are bold mice.
Guy like
There are old mice. You are the only old, bold mouse.
Bold is the old mouse, like
Bold.
threatening the snake with his cane.
Okay, so is anyone generous?
I already have a level in generous.
Okay.
Thought about taking generous just because like I took dash under my wing.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, you took me under this owl wing that you ripped off.
Wow.
well, like
You
my
mean this feather?
my hovel is made out of owl wings. And
Do you not have quarters in Lockhaven? Are you a hermit?
they had to bring me in. It's like the cop, right? Like the guy that never listened.
Where were you posted? Like, mark it on the map, because it's not in a village.
Well, let's look here. What is the place that's most likely to have owls?
Any of them, this is a forest.
Yeah. Like fairly close to the scent barrier, like out here in Spruce Tuck.
Okay. I also just noticed all of the text up here. Like, I just started reading it. As measured by the guard of 1149, recorded by Clark's cartography. That's really good. Okay.
They're pretty detail oriented with this stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think this came out of a comic book series.
Yes, it definitely did. That's run for like a dozen years now. Like
Yeah.
it's-
And all of the art in the PDF, which is gorgeous, and I think it was like $20, comes from the comics, or at least the same artist, as I understand it. Okay. So is
I'm gonna
everybody?
take generous? Sorry. I'll take generous.
Okay. Has everybody taken one of those 3 traits?
So you picked impetuous dash.
Yes.
How about I go back and say I save?
Okay.
Okay.
So increase your nature by 1. You are mousier.
What is this slash? What are the slashes?
What?
There's nature. It's got a box
Score
slash
has
box.
2 boxes.
You start off as 3.
You start off with 3, so you're up to 4. Okay. Yeah, because you can tax it. But yeah, you start out with 4 in both boxes. So, When confronted, do you stand your ground and fight, or do you run and hide?
I would stand my ground.
Angus?
Fighter.
Yep.
Same.
Dash?
No. I dash. I don't dash.
That makes sense.
And Devon?
You're a weaver, Devon.
As he points his needle towards him.
But what does this is instinct as well too,
Devin,
right?
Devin thinks that he can kill an owl.
Okay.
Right?
So I mean,
I think
what
the
does
answer-
what does he think in the moment though? Like when fight or flight kicks in, when that adrenaline starts pumping. These aren't meant to be easy questions to answer.
I know. I'll say fight.
Okay. If you run and hide, increase your nature by 1. Decrease your starting fighter skill if you have it by 1.
It's 0.
Does nothing.
If you do not run, leave fighter and nature as they are. Do you fear owls, weasels, and wolves?
Cinder does not.
Fuck no.
Dash?
Yes. Dash dashes.
Devon?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If you do, increase your nature by 1. If you do not, take the fearless, brave, or foolish trait.
So there's no negative traits in the book.
No, but you don't use traits generally positively.
Yeah.
90% of the time when you invoke a trait, it's either going to be like, this is what my character would do, just narrative positioning. Mechanically, it's like using a distinction as a D4 in Marvel Heroic Roleplaying.
So but Dash and I don't have many traits. Is that a problem?
Not really.
No. I think you and I are fairly agreeable people.
You're better. Like, I have a nature of 3. You guys are going to be way better at straight mousing than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got 5.
I have 3.
Yeah, Dash and I are more alike than we care to admit to.
Yeah, no.
That's really good, though.
Yeah, especially since I think you said you have some points in instructor.
2.
And Angus does not have any.
Good choice.
The characters shook out differently than we imagined them, Angus.
They really, really did.
That's the fun, though.
Yeah.
There is.
So you start out with a number of wises proportionate to your rank. Wises are not rated and are listed in a special section of the character sheet. So if you're a Tenderpaw, you have 1 wise, and it is either Code of the Guard wise or Legends of the Guard wise. So does Dash know the laws, or does Dash know the legends that get passed down generation to generation?
Oh, the legends for sure.
Cool.
Oh, okay, so we just choose one of the wises?
Patrol guards get 2,
Oh, okay.
and the patrol leader gets 3.
Oof.
Out that there's a moose wise,
Mm-hmm.
you can be moose wise, and now I want to kill a moose.
You mean Moose Wise Mouse?
You have to tame the
I-
moose, Angus.
I don't think you get to kill Moose, because imagine a shitty soldier on Hoth with their crappy little blaster being like, I'm gonna kill this AT-AT that's also moving a lot faster than any AT-AT.
Listen,
You don't get a blaster in Mouse Guard, right?
That too.
It's a knife.
So yeah, you're a shitty soldier on Hoth with a knife, not a vibro knife. Like, I'm gonna fuck up this AT-AT. Also, some of these wises are really good, like hidey hole wise.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
a pretty
literally
good one.
looking at that one. Yeah.
And I mean, you can
It's-
choose your own as well.
Is apiary like birds?
No, it's bees.
Bees.
Oh, okay.
Bees.
That would be aviary.
Yep.
Right.
So you could be avian wise. Clear and warm weather wise.
What's
Warm
with
weather.
the 4 checkboxes when you add a wise to the character sheet? It says
I think that's advancing it.
Yeah.
You got to do each of those things.
I see.
Advance it. I think.
I think that's how it works. I haven't looked at advancement because I'm not planning on engaging with those rules tonight.
What would be like guard captain and guard mouse wise?
Um,
That
Actually,
would be
there's a
like-
guard captain and guard mouse wise.
Doesn't matter.
Just usually knowledgeable.
Yeah, you just use mouse guard wise.
Yeah, and these are things that you are wise about. These are things that you know things about.
Wouldn't we naturally know what those things are?
So this is
Or
like
guard
especially
mouse?
so. Yeah.
So this is like you'll use your wise to be like, no, this is how this thing.
Oh, I see.
Or like,
Well, actually,
yeah, wises are the well actually of skills. Yes. I'm not 110% sure. What's up?
it's too bad Dash can't take male wise.
No.
Well, and there's also like city wise, like Elmos wise.
Yeah.
You may
Okay,
take
so-
specific wises for types or groups of mice. Or a specific mouse if you want. So if Angus is dash wise,
Jesus.
So
also
basically, you're anything in like basically you're anything in like that letter. So if it's like F, you could be fighter wise or
Yep.
aviary wise. Right?
yep. Or if you want to be like, I mean, if you want to be like Weasel War wise, you can come up with your own.
Oh, okay.
What did you do in Weasel War?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh. Fought weasels. Sounds about right.
Is that Cinder's actual answer?
Oh, this is old.
I don't know. It's just like when a kid asks what's for dinner and the parent replies
It's
food.
food.
Right.
Cinder doesn't want to talk about it. Some dark times.
Is her
Dark
name
times.
Cinder because she burned weasels?
No, my fur is red.
Nice.
Oh, you're one of those. Okay.
What? What's wrong with that? Dash is also red.
Red is just a very. It's listed as a very rare fur
Yes.
color.
Hmm. Okay.
My
Bad
name
thing
is
at all. It's
fur.
just like you'll be noticeable as a mouse for being red.
When like people will probably think you're related.
Oh,
Two of you are traveling in the same party. They'll probably assume that you are
okay.
directly related.
What did you pick for Angus?
Does or fur?
The fur.
I think I'm going. I just went with gray fur
Okay.
because I'm super old. Get
What
it?
did you
I'm
use?
fur is old.
So what is Devin wise about?
I was looking for like a weather wise or like because Devin
Yep.
turned out to be less of a shitty leader than initially
Yep.
slated.
Mhm.
And I don't really see anything here about that.
So you can make up your own wises.
They tend to be very weather wise. Wouldn't be a good one because they're like ice storm wise.
Right.
Ice wise, right? They're way.
But I mean, you could be winter wise.
Yeah. You could
Sure.
be sweater wise.
Yep.
No.
Wool wise.
Just for
No.
weather-wise.
Tweed wise.
There you go.
No, I'm gonna be patrol
There's-
leader wise.
There's nut wise.
Yeah.
Nutwise is an option. I looked at it.
Fashion-wise?
Also, I just want to point out that in Lord of the Rings, Frodo would have been Samwise wise.
Oh no!
That's bad.
Mike just looks down at his microphone like, is this worth it?
Considering.
What about Gandalf?
Clearly, he's white wise.
Yeah, I'm gonna do patrol leader wise,
Mm-hmm.
predator wise, and winter wise.
Nice. Nice. Dash is Legends of the Guard wise. What's Cinder wise about?
Cinder is wise in the like F kind of stuff, like so fighter, forests, kind of
Okay.
like foxes, and then also birds.
Well, so you pick
You
two, just two, not like a letter.
Oh, I thought you picked like 2 wise sections.
No,
Categories.
no, just
That'd
two
be
of the
great.
specific wises.
Oh, okay.
She's P wise.
I'm sorry. I totally got that wrong.
No worries. Sorry, I don't think I
Okay.
answered your question right.
Okay. Then I'll be fighter and bird wise.
Okay. Nice.
So anything fighter and birds.
And so the way wises work mechanically as well is you can help people, and if you're helping someone and you're not using a wise, then you're getting into the shit with them if they fail. But if you're using a wise, then you're just telling them how to do it better. And so if they fail, they don't drag you down with them. And Angus, what are you wise about?
Angus, the predator wise,
That's
country wise.
Oh, that's so good.
those are
Nice.
good ones.
Nice, 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 nice.
Cover the things that he would know.
Yep.
Hey, does Angus try convincing Dash that bees are totally predatory?
He just knows that bees are predatory. Been down that road. You weren't there for the cleansing, the hive cleansing.
Goodness.
B stands for
And
blood.
he had to take down the queen. It was real ugly. We lost an entire village.
Oh my god, are you Zaid but a mouse?
I
Oh
am.
no! I love it.
Oh, I'm actually really sad because I didn't realize there was more from I to K. I didn't.
I mean, if you wanna,
Yeah, take-
Yeah.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
if you wanna be revision wise,
Damn it.
yeah, and I mean, again, if you want to come up with like, if you want to just stick a word in front of wise and be that thing wise, then that's cool too.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Here, maybe I should be open ground and forest wise. So then, any
because it's like battlefields,
battlefields.
or are you
I
just
like that.
battlefield wise?
Ooh.
There we go. I like that one. Battlefield. So any field of battle.
You're battlefield wise and Call of Duty wise.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Battlefield wise.
Um,
Ass wise. Not wise ass, but ass wise.
I just want to point out I did not say that.
But you should have.
I wish you did.
so I'm gonna skip over resources and circles because I don't really see those coming up.
Okay.
But everyone gets another trait. So choose a quality you were born with. All players get one from this list. They can reinforce their hometown trait if it's available, or pick something new.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, and so you can. The first rank of a trait gives you +1 die once per session in a situation where the trait would be useful to the task at hand. The second rank gives you +1 die for 2 rolls. The third rank is +1 success to all rolls related to the traits.
Whoa!
Nice.
But I don't expect anybody to hit through the third rank of their trait in character creation. Because you would be the boldest
Maybe.
mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and level up fearless
Okay.
since alert isn't an option.
Nice.
All right. Let's look here.
So that's on page 308.
So we can pick one of these.
Yes. Fat.
Hey, I'm gonna just pick short.
Okay.
No, I have no idea. I'm just being an asshole.
Okay. I want to point out that wolf snout lets you like sniff super good. Innocent is another thing. Jaded,
You sure not going to pick old fur there, Angus?
also that.
That's a good point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Break all
natural
my
bearings?
ties. Bad with old.
I think natural bearings is probably a bonus for not getting lost.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite of lost mice. Those with natural bearings always seem to know where they are. They also tend to have a wanderlust that makes them uncomfortable when in cities or towns for too long.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That's very
Mike.
detailed.
Oh my.
Go with
Okay, no, the bookmarks don't exist in this PDF. Sorry.
Sounds good. I'm very old fur.
Are you so old for you're tired of this shitwise?
An old fur is a mouse who's past his prime physically. Even so, old furs have the collected wisdom of generations who have gone before,
Nice.
meaning they're about to die.
What page are you on?
Really?
265, 266.
Oh, okay. Really?
What did you take for your second wise, Cinder?
Oh, I took Nightwise because I figure if we were doing any
Ooh.
battling at night, then I could,
Nightwise is pretty good.
yeah.
It's 50% of the time. It works all the time.
I thought about Nightwise.
Yeah. Battlefield and Nightwise.
Solid
go with
call.
So if you get a second rank in Nightwise, you become Nightwise.
Jeez.
I'm the
gonna
Night
pick
Watch.
Nimble.
Nimble. Good stuff.
Did you already have? Because you're a tender paw, right?
Yeah.
So you could conceivably have the third rank in a
Real
trait as a tender paw.
I mean, but we couldn't do that in a one shot.
I'm not sure how.
Rank 3?
Yeah.
I mean, the next thing gives us another trait, right?
You could have 3 ranks of fearless.
I'm looking
That's
at 3
tender
ranks of Fearless and being like, wait, hold on. I could Obi-Wan Kenobi so hard tonight.
But
you guys.
actually you could anyways, right? Because you're a patrol leader, right? Or guard captain.
No.
I'm a patrol guard.
Yeah, you can do that, but I could because I'm a natural leader, Angus. Just because you're old doesn't mean you need to lead everything.
Yeah, we are definitely going. I could rank 2 Fearless and rank 2 Old Fur. Or I could just rank 3 Fearless.
Okay, so choose something you learned or inherited from your parents.
Freaking owl.
This is for tender paws only.
What?
Make
Yeah.
2 Fearless.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so tender paws get one, and then patrol leaders get another.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is for tender paws only. Take 1 check on this list.
And so for the quality you're born with, it's just a singular point, or is it 2?
It's just 1, but if you can add to something you already have as well.
Oh, okay. I am going to do for that tender paw only section. I'm gonna put another point in Nimble.
Okay. And then patrol leaders and guard captains may also choose a trait that represents a lesson learned during their tenure in the guard. So if your parents were nimble, did that help them with their carpentry?
Until the end.
Till the end.
It did until they weren't.
They were fast food.
You're not sorry. Alright.
As a would-be Canadian, I guess I'm sorry.
No, Zach isn't sorry.
But Zach is not.
Can you not hear me anymore, Jordan?
No.
Okay.
I like how she responded then.
I'm in a really weird place right now.
No, so the thing is, sometimes Zach and I can't hear each other talk,
But you know he's talking.
but we can
so.
hear everyone else. So
So what's Devon's last trait choice there? I think that bitter is an option.
yeah.
Time in the guard has made you bitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if bitter helps you not get eaten by snakes.
So I'm thinking of taking leader again
Okay.
because I imagine that it's going to be very easy to play against leader anytime Devin or Angus tries to pull old fart card.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, fuck you, I'm the leader.
This is my favorite card.
Yeah, I'm totally going for another leader.
Nice.
And the leader, ranking leader.
Okay.
I went with wolf snout.
For your quality you were born with, because it's just tender paws and the patrol leader that get the second.
You don't get anything.
Oh, it says all players get one check from this list.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's 2 more lists that are specific.
Oh, I see.
But the first one is Wolf Snout. Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice. God, do you have like especially carnivorous teeth for a?
Yeah, the downside of Wolf Snout is you've got to be careful not to become like a berserker.
Hungry like the
Well,
wolf?
I'm a fighter, so
You're part ferret.
with red fur.
It doesn't make any sense, Zach.
Everybody's already got a name. And it sounded like everyone had a fur color.
Yeah. Oh God, Rona really is at the top.
Yeah. Well, of the second column.
Yeah.
Yes, but still.
And then you decided where you were born. Now it's time to name your parents. Do your parents still exist? Other than Dash?
No.
I just want to point out that there's a benefit if they do, which is basically if you go visit that town, you get room and board for free.
My parents do exist. I just pretend that they. I probably lied about the carpenter thing.
The story that they got eaten by owls is a complete lie.
Yeah.
Total lie.
So here's a question for you then, Dash. You're Legends of the Guardwise. Do you know stories, tales, tall and otherwise, of Angus Young, Scout Extraordinaire?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
By the way, patrol guards only get one, which was the one they were born with. Is that right? They don't get to choose from the other 2?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, that was fun.
If I feel like we wound up my character specifically wound up a long ways from where I envisioned them, which is usually a pretty good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Thing.
So since we're working on a clock here and we're already about an hour and a half in, I think I'm gonna jump over the rest of the naming stuff. But
What about cloak colors?
that I am not skipping. Have some faith in me, Michael. Your mentor gave you your cloak on the day you were formally inducted into the Guard. What color is it, and why, Devin?
Like I put a red cloak here automatically just because.
Yep.
Cloak. But I'm gonna be green.
Okay.
For just try to keep a low profile and get out of this thing and come back to me and keep making sweaters and shit.
Okay.
But that's not why Devin likes it.
Is your cloak knitted?
Yes, in fact, I made my own cloak.
Ooh. All right, skip Dash, because Dash, you are too green to have a cloak. Angus, what color is
see
your
what you did
cloak?
there.
My cloak is crimson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my mind, and this is probably like maybe a little metal for the mice. Because I was apprenticed to a healer, right?
Yep.
And so, like in my head, her cloak was white,
Yep.
white cloak. But like on the day I was supposed to be in the mouse guard, there was some sort of like a snake that needed
Oh
killed.
no.
Blood all over my cloak. But now my cloak is red.
I like how you
got
said
it.
I can
crimson
wash
and-
that for you, right?
Yeah.
What?
I can just wash that. It's not.
That cloak could have been washed out, yes, but I was inducted into the Mouse Guard as Angus Red Cloak because
Okay.
Angus Blood Cloak.
Because I can just. It's just fabric, buddy.
My favorite part is so Devin has a red cloak, and then Angus is like trying to go like, yeah, well mine's crimson.
Devon's in green.
Oh dang it! I thought it said red.
Mike is the Red Cloaker.
I also
Mike is the red cloak. Skull and shit.
I also think it's kind of funny that like it's probably, unless you just like went back for a few extra passes, it's probably not evenly colored.
Oh, come on, Angus totally went back for
Well,
extra passes.
I think like there's no way I still have the original cloak anymore, so now I'm just like wearing a red cloak.
Okay.
But I got inducted. Like I imagine, like I got inducted, and I looked like I was after a Dragon Age Origins fight.
Oh god.
Just, like,
Covered in jam.
Delicious.
You didn't get Barkspawn to lick you clean?
Please, dog meat.
Barkspawn is such a good name.
It's a good name.
It really is. It was good. Yeah.
Cinder, what color is your cloak? And why?
My cloak is black to better blend in the night when I fight.
God damn, you're a
Well,
ninja.
Ninja Mouse.
You're Storm Vermin, aren't you?
I was gonna say, well, there's the reason I would prefer to go, away from these two different mentally.
Yeah, stuff got dark on this quarter here.
All right, so stop and discuss what's going on in your game before going any further. Check out the missions if you need to, and then come back to writing your beliefs, goals, and instinct. So we're gonna start off, and you're in the office, or what passes for an office of I believe it's Meredith, who is the head of the guard.
Meredith?
Yeah,
I look around for a red statue.
you don't find one,
Okay.
which is probably for the best. But yeah, she's got you aligned in her office, and she begins the briefing essentially with, we haven't heard anything from Shaleborough, Barkstone, or Pebblebrook since last autumn. Their taxes are 2 weeks past due, but more importantly, we need to replenish our stocks after winter. We sent a single scout and found him outside the gates of Lockhaven 2 days after his departure. He was injured, and he hasn't regained consciousness. That was yesterday. I need you to figure out what happened and to put it right. So you're not...
Well,
Yep.
sorry, go ahead.
No.
All right, well, this, so one of the mice under my command, Angus here, apparently has a pretty deft paw. Why don't we, go see what he can do? Poke around at the guy that's unconscious. Mr. Bloodclub.
He's like sitting, like slumped over, sort of in a chair,
Like sleeping. Because he's old.
snoring.
Come on, old man.
Embarrassing to his protege sitting
Yeah.
next
Like
to him.
fake
Like,
snoring.
almost
Right?
him.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm probably like shaking his shoulder. or
Is
something.
Angus the only one asleep?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ah, we will take care of it right away.
Meredith is going to continue and say, to bring back the supplies, I'm giving you use of a cart and a beetle. It's old Gertie just outside the gate. She'll be waiting for you. Yeah, Gertie, short for Gertrude. She's almost as old as Angus.
We have worked together before, actually.
Yeah, and she's not temperamental. She's probably honestly one of the most broken beetles. Not the fastest in the world, but also pretty even keeled. So she's the old dependable workhorse you are being sent to Shaleborough with.
Okay. The boss lady is done talking.
Yeah, and she says dismissed and waves you out of her office. because she has shit to do.
Angus will like stand up, leaning heavily on staff, spear, whatever he's got with him.
Yep.
To stand himself up and start sort of shuffling out, and he'll sort of lean into Dash. Where are we going again? Where did she say we're going?
Shaleborough, sir. Sir. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I can't hear that.
Yeah, you have to get pretty close to the mic.
Yeah, I know. I was. Yeah, I know. So he'll sort of stare absently into the middle distance.
Fall asleep again.
You can tell that he's like thinking about something, but it's hard to tell what really.
I probably start asking about, like, I don't know, something that he did decades ago.
Let's pin this here,
Okay.
and figure out beliefs, goals, and instincts for the party.
Okay.
So a belief is an overarching ethical or moral stance. So examples are, I'll build a good name for the Mouse Guard. And there's more of that under the Mouse Guard chapter, and I'm not entirely certain where that is.
Page 29.
Thank you. There are also goals, which is write a goal for your character based on the mission you've been assigned. A goal is an objective you could feasibly accomplish in the near future via the actions of your character. And then an instinct as well. So what does your character do without thinking?
I want to outshine that one scout that got sent, or, was found injured.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yes, just to do the delivery that he was supposed to do, and just come back and be like, yo, I made it like this much faster than you.
He wasn't supposed to do a delivery. Shaleborough's like maybe 2 days away, 3 if the trail's bad from winter and like the spring runoff. But yeah, like he was basically sent out to figure out what the heck happened, and then turned up 2 days later just outside of town, unconscious and dying.
I guess my goal is to impress Angus in some way,
Okay.
so that he's less patronizing towards me.
Well, I mean, just impress Angus is a fine goal. Like it's.
Yeah. Gotta impress your hero.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, never meet your heroes. Like,
That's why you're so disappointed.
no, I think maybe Dash is a little disillusioned.
And then instincts are things that you just do without thinking. And you can actually use these, like, if I get surprised, I go for my sword. Like, or just when surprised, my sword is in my hand, or something like that. Like, or always have a knife where no one can find it.
Come back alive.
Oh, yeah, come back alive. I mean,
My instinct is come back alive.
or just get out alive.
Just get out.
Yeah. Yeah, run when in danger.
Yeah. So my belief,
Mhm.
I think for Angus is going to be, the next generation must be prepared to protect the homeland.
Yep.
My goal is teach Dash how to fight predators.
Okay.
There's one right there.
Yep.
Yes. My instinct is startle toward violence.
Startle toward violence.
Yes.
They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
Cool. Dash, do you know what your belief is?
Goodness, I don't have one for him just yet.
Okay. Is it related to something like the Mouse Guard is full of heroes and I'll become one of them, or similar?
Probably, like, it's anyone can be, someone of importance.
You can be anything you put your mind to in Zootopia.
Well, I was actually more or less thinking from Ratatouille. It could just be from anywhere.
Devin or Cinder?
I like the one it has in there. So like, it matters not what you fight, but what you fight for.
Nice. Do you have a goal for this mission?
For this one in particular,
Mm-hmm.
accomplish it with everyone coming back alive.
Nice.
Everyone comes back.
Leave no man.
Mm-hmm.
No mouse.
Do you know what Cinder does instinctively?
You makes me even. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Cinder will automatically protect their comrades.
Nice. That'll go well with Angus.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, I just created another church. Church. What's his butt?
Scrufflebutt. And Devin? What does Devin believe?
Something vaguely self-serving.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time putting something vaguely self-serving to words.
What's best for me is best for the guard.
Well,
That's good. I like it.
How
Yeah, that's pretty good.
how careerist is Devin? Like, are you looking to make your bones here?
Well, like, so I figured Devin didn't want to be stuck as a mouse weaver mouse his entire life, and it has got his old mentor to give him a chance.
I mean, you're
Greatness, maybe.
you're of significant rank at this point.
Right.
Like Meredith probably knows you by name.
I think I may still have a chip on my shoulder
Okay.
Oh my god.
about that.
Yep.
Do you feel like you didn't earn your position?
I feel like I have to always earn my position. Like if I slip
Always
up, they're going to send me
proving
back to
yourself.
the
Yeah.
cloth
Strive to be
fields.
worthy.
To the Weaver Mines.
Yeah, to the mines.
Knitting sweater.
Saw the shaft in the weed of her mind.
Yep. Well, I
So
mean,
it's
so
like-
like weaving is also like silkworm silk stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, it is probably like not super great. Like it's fairly underground. You probably haven't heard of it.
Get rid of it, damn it! I believe what's good for me is good for the guard. My goal is going to be always like have my eye on the next promotion, right? Like,
Okay. So it's that's what sounds like more of an instinct. A goal is like something that you get out of this mission or something you do on this mission.
it's resume building, right?
Okay.
Like accomplish 2 secondary objectives towards my to get promoted faster, right?
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
And then survival above all is my instinct.
Nice. What weapon does your mouse carry? Common choices include spear, knife, sword, staff, spear, hook and line, halberd, sling, and bow.
Do you know what page weapons are on?
I do not.
Do weapons is the I don't know. Did the mechanical weapons actually matter?
I mean, I don't plan on doing any capital F fights.
Okay.
Like, if anybody rolls fighter, it's going to be like a one and done. You get it or you don't. I'm not gonna do like the whole put cards down and then reveal cards fight thing. That's way more involved than we're getting in this one shot.
I'll have a halberd.
Nice. So I mean, it'll matter for narrative positioning.
And
With my
probably have a
walking-
bow.
Okay. Interesting. because I'm going Witcher. I can't see well enough to use ranged weapons.
You can go with a staff
So yeah,
and just
I mean,
use it as like a.
spear and like a hand axe. I think are the two things that I carry.
Okay. Dash?
No, I said a bow.
Okay.
I don't think I picked an instinct though.
I thought you might have, but I could be wrong.
Probably something about like I'm always looking for an exit route,
Okay.
or like I'm always aware of exit routes.
Yeah, it's I always have an exit plan, or I always know where the exit is.
Always keep an eye on the door is one of the examples in Burning Wheel. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's Dash. That's how he
You're very true to your name.
has to live to. He picked his own name.
Is that your nickname or your actual given name?
It's a fake name he gave when he applied.
Oh, there we go. That makes sense.
So it was Dash's parents that were eaten by the owl.
Yes.
So is Dash younger than they applied to the guard as?
Yes, he's 13.
Oh.
Cause, or I guess he's 14, but he said he was 17.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still old enough. It's just
Well, and that's probably why you're slightly small.
yeah.
Is Dash a he or a she?
He.
Okay. All I heard was the E, so sure.
Dash is a him.
Okay.
It's in a
Devin?
song.
Shield.
Nice. Does anyone have armor?
I think Devin said that he was gonna use like the owl beak as armor.
But is it like heavy mouse plate?
Oh,
Probably
that
light.
sounds cute. I don't know why.
It all sounds cute. This whole game is adorable. It's great.
That was the whole point, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this game is adorable
mouse
until the
plate?
mice die, and then it's not anymore.
Hey, I'm not gonna let that happen. Protect my
No,
cup.
my what?
You. Thing you fail.
Okay.
You muted out for part of that time.
Yeah, I don't know what you said.
Oh, sorry. I said I like you, and I'm going to enjoy watching you fail.
No,
All
I
right.
will do my best. If we have armor, is there anything to put on it, or if it's like
It'll just serve like a narrative thing, or like it might get you into trouble if you have to go swimming. It might help if you take a fall, or like Gertrude punches you.
I'll just have like
Fine.
yeah, leather armor, like light leather armor, or whatever mice would have. Grass armor. I don't know.
I mean, it could be like cloth hauberk or similar. Like
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah, mouse plate's pretty awesome. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
could totally do like heavy armor.
yeah. But you said you're like a like a nighttime fighter.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just have like black cloth.
So okay. Nice. Sorry, black cloth and a halberd?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So, are you part of the?
Yeah, definitely a Skaven storm vermin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. Are you familiar at all with Warhammer?
Not the one you're talking about,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So search
Is that cool?
Skaven storm vermin, because they are specifically large black rat people but use pole arms.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yep,
That is so funny.
that's really good. No, I like it. That yeah, sweet.
Except mine's the opposite way around. Not my armor is red. My fur is red.
Yeah.
It's just the other way. Don't want to be copyrighted, you know.
Yeah, Games Workshop, please do not sue us. We do not have any money.
Do you have the Rhino blade helmet? That is amazing.
That's a good question.
Do you?
Sure, why not?
Sweet.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Might
Seriously.
as well.
Go for it.
I'll go blade hunter.
Awesome. All right, so let's get back into it. We jump back into the hallway outside Meredith's office in Lockhaven. And I believe Devin had just said something about picking up Angus and waving him over the 6 Scout.
While getting me talking about some old story of back in my day, I remember last time I was at, where's this place again? What's this called?
Shaleboro, we're in Lockhaven, old man.
Oh yeah, Lockhaven. Last time I was in Lockhaven, there was a ferret running crazy, and he was riding a snake. I had to kill a snake riding ferret last time I was here.
Sir, that didn't happen. You were drunk.
Because I was drunk doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I also want to point out that what Shaleboro is known for, and currently Lockhaven is short on, is berry wine.
Probably because he drank it all.
Yeah, there we go.
So they say that back in your prime, you once saved a mouse in your charge's life. They said that you all but stitched his foreleg back on.
Probably
not-
happened.
There we go.
Almost certainly happened. Yes.
You know, we could really use a mouse of your knowledge and skill right now to tell us a little bit about what happened to this little guy. You know, he hasn't woken up, and all he said he wanted was to wake up and see one of the heroes before he went to the grain house in the sky. Meredith told me.
Super tight. Yeah, I'm always happy to see a mouse on their way.
Oh my god.
So the Scout is probably being kept in the dormitory, which isn't too far from here.
Yeah, lead on. I'm like blocking with the spear.
Yeah. And when you get into the room, because I mean, it's not super hard to find like the infirmary and the dormitory. Get it? Because they're dorm mice. Anyways. Dash, you recognize this as another one of the runners who was probably in like a similar couple classes, like training programs as you were.
Yeah. I mean,
And
maybe he and I even like joined together the same year.
Oh, like we totally get a flashback of like the enlistment office outside Lockhaven, and it's like he's in front of you in line.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, "Hi, my name's Liam," and like holds out a little mousy paw.
It's bigger than mine though.
Oh yeah.
William didn't lie about his age, Dash.
Like I was able to talk my way through it. And basically what happens if Steve Rogers wasn't, rejected.
And then we get like that lost fade effect where it like fades to white and then snaps
Yeah.
back to this scene, and it's just Liam lying in bed like unconscious and breathing sort of ragged.
I probably didn't even know it was him when we were given the mission.
Oh, and one of his eyes is all bandaged up, and like the
Oh,
ear is
no.
folded over.
I totally rushed over.
He's unconscious.
Probably.
He's breathing.
No, I know. I'm thinking I'm probably like making some shitty jokes we made back in like boot camp or whatever.
I think your mic sounds a little weird, Mike. It might be the cord.
Mike?
Me?
Okay, no, you're fine.
I'll shamble over.
It's you, Zach.
Robo Zach.
Whoa.
How about now?
Better.
Angus.
What did you do?
Much better.
Did you have something in your throat there? Because it sounded a little strange.
Microchips.
It was an entire colony of bees.
Just right in there.
Wasps.
I'll shamble over to him.
Mhm.
Do I recognize these sorts of wounds at all?
Have you
Well,
ever
okay.
survived an owl attack?
Absolutely, I have survived an owl attack. I've done.
Actually, fuck, this is probably a hunter check. So Zach knows it's an owl. I don't know if Angus does from the wound. Let's do the healer
Oh.
check. Because that would be like knowing stuff about the wounds.
Does my predator wise apply at all?
It would if someone else was doing the heal roll.
Haha.
Or if someone else was trying to figure out what this was.
Like roll button here. So
So just build the die pool, I think. Because it's just XD6 greater than 4. Should do it. Let me test one.
No pressure, but your protege is hoping that you can fix him.
1,
6
2,
successes.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I just rolled 12 dice. But yeah, if you do the greater than 4, it'll count anything equal to or greater than 4. Cool. So it's definitely like, you're not sure. You know it's some kind of owl.
this young mouse was attacked by an owl, and I'll sort of like not super gently, but not super roughly, like roll parts of him over to look at the marks and things.
There's a couple like pretty deep laceration. He's lucky. He is lucky and good, and still basically dead. Like on death's door, hanging out, having a cup of coffee with death on death's patio.
It could have been, and I'll sort of address the room. This could have been much worse. I have seen full-grown mice taken and eaten by owls. He was lucky to get away with at least 3 limbs.
He's
Owls with this guy.
all his arms and legs are still attached.
Always owls.
Hi.
Um,
Sorry, I just picture he says the 3 anyway.
Yeah,
no, I definitely say. I still say the 3 thing. Like that's definitely a thing. Like you can see Angus sort of doing the math in his head. Like, what is the average number of limbs that we walk? Okay, about 3. He's kind of like 2.84 or so limbs. So,
Regardless, Dash is incredibly upset next to the bed.
anything I can do to like help him? I'm sure they got better healers than me on the
Yeah.
job.
yeah, and I mean he's already been tended to. When they found him, he was basically dead, and then they upgraded his condition to not dead.
Good work, everybody. High
Yeah.
five. High five all around.
Yeah.
My set 5s. Yes. Then now, with that knowledge and like a complete detachment from everything,
Mhm.
Angus will turn and start leaving the dormitory and like mumbling to himself the proper preparations for owl attack.
Okay. Rule 1 is don't get hit.
But yeah, like we need like sharp, long things, and like camouflage would be great. And like, but he's saying all this under his breath, like almost like he's expecting Dash to like take it down or something. But he's mostly just mumbling to himself as he walks out.
Is anyone else going with? Is anyone still in the room?
Dash is.
Okay. What do you?
Probably insulting him for being, I don't know, careless or something. Saying that, we were supposed to go do something next week. Something like that. Like, now I'm like more determined to see this mission through.
I think one of the like doctor mice or nurse mice in the room makes a comment that's just like, that's life on the guard. We do like, he's lucky, he's skilled. That could have been any of us.
Whole limbs he walked away with. It's fine. Way better than expected.
Yeah.
So
Owls are no joke, yo.
it's above the median of 2.84.
A median number of limbs.
Cinder or Devin, do you have anything you want to do?
I was just kind of watching everything unfold, and as I'm like leaning against the wall next to the door, just kind of like observing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to gain a bit of info out of the wandering away Angus, who quietly about pike hedges and camouflage netting, to see if I can get any information that's useful for protecting these four.
Scent blockers, like Angus knows these things. He just is not great at communicating them. So I will sort of exude this information into my immediate area for collection by others.
I mean, you are predator-wise, so you can help on rolls against predators.
Right. Is that a thing that we can do? Are we rolling for that?
I mean, you can try to prepare something now, or you can wait until you're on the road, until it's relevant.
We'll wait until it's relevant. But
Okay.
I was trying to figure out if I needed to make camouflage cloaks for us beforehand.
I mean, now would probably be the time to get the supplies, which you could.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
I offer to help gather supplies because I have good laborer skills.
Cool. So I'm guessing you're heading off to the quartermaster.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess I'll ask Devin what supplies are needed so that I'm not just grabbing random supplies.
Right. I do my best to extract the information out of Angus using, I don't know, leadership and lying or whatever.
Well, I mean,
And then
Angus is a
I understand.
font of these things. So you can. I don't think you have to roll to get it out of him.
Okay.
Just
But it's
ask him about the last time he killed an owl, and he will tell you these things, right?
it's going to be, the role is going to be you get to the quartermaster's office, and you ask for supplies that they may or may not have.
Yeah.
Especially for a job to Shilborough, which is right next door. That should be a milk run.
Right. But just the same, I'm gonna want us to be as advanced as or as prepared as possible. So
Yep. Yeah. Let me just hop back to 310. So I think it's Clove, a little mouse named Clove, a little brown mouse, who does all the inventory at Lockhaven. She's sat behind her desk. She's probably crunching numbers away on a tiny little mousy abacus.
Oh. Is this Lockhaven?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe. Do I know Clove?
Probably. I mean, you have supplies. So, I mean, yeah, you would have dealt with her before.
Well, because I'm also from Lockhaven, so
Yeah.
I might know her from before.
Mhm.
So I guess I approach Clove and be like, "Hey, Clove, just looking for a bit of supplies. Do you have anything in stock?"
Oh, Cinder. I can. I mean, it was just winter. I don't have to tell you that, but what do you need?
I get a piece of paper and I give it to her with a list that Devin gave me.
Well, what are you trying to? What are you looking to make out of this?
We're looking to make a bit of camouflage clothing because we're
So
going out.
Silks
see.
and
Yeah, just to try to not get eaten by owls and stuff.
okay.
Well,
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably just a few units of silk or something.
yeah.
Okay, this sounds like, let's find that handy dandy list of skills. Because this sounds like one of those. Haggler?
Labor,
Well, labor is going to be loading up and unloading carts.
loading up. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is probably haggler manipulator if you're kind of being an asshole about it.
can I do persuader? I have 2 in persuader, but
Yep.
I don't have the other ones.
look, man, my boss is such a hard ass.
Come on.
Yeah, and I'll throw in. You can get an extra die
Okay.
because you've got a precise list that has been filtered through 2 of your elders. This will probably be an ob 2 to get enough to cover
Okay.
4 mice in a camouflage, though.
Okay. Is this 3d6?
Mhm.
All right.
Can
Do I do the 4 as well or no?
What's up, Angus?
I help with my predator wise?
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
so like, yeah, I know how to make it go further with less supplies. Here's how.
Mhm.
Friends.
Yeah, so it'll be 4 dice greater than 4. You're looking for 2 successes total.
This, that's wrong, isn't
The
it?
slash in front.
Yeah, just slash roll.
You can also just do /R.
Is that right? No, I'm clearly not doing this correct.
Um,
It's /R, isn't it?
/roll.
it's what I just typed, less the dot out front.
Thank you.
Mike, do you want to take like 5? Mike, do you want to take 5 and like pop out your contacts?
No, my eyes aren't the color of crimson blood cloak over here, so I'm okay.
No, you're just spending half the time with your eyes shut and okay. Yeah, so I think what happens is she's like,
I'm out of
I'm sorry.
supplies.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, Cinder. If you'd come
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
if you'd come 2 days ago, we would have had it, but
Took all our owl hunting supplies, like 2 groups, just like took all of our owl.
essentially, well, just all of the silk. They had to do a run over to Darkwater.
Are there pirates in Darkwater?
No. But there are mousy boat crafters who make boats out of spider silk sails and like big wide leaves.
I wonder if there's any other materials that I could get that would be like similar to it. Or could I go to like someone who would have the silk?
I think they're tapped out. I think that's what happens with the 0 is we made the roll, you didn't get it, so that's
Damn.
yeah. Unfortunately, they've been cleared out.
I see.
It's okay. With my leadership and with Angus's ability to sleep through anything, we've got this.
Sleep through everything, but also be alert.
I'm alert. I'm an alert old mouse.
Yeah.
Alright.
So when you sleep during a meeting.
I imagine Angus can sleep with his eyes open.
Or
One
at
of
least
his
one
friends.
eye open, I imagine, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
and it alternates.
Oh
All right. Dash, do you have anything else you want to do in the presence of Liam, or is it just
no. Yeah, I'm just probably like muttering reassurances, mostly to myself. And then I leave.
yeah, I mean, you and Devin are both afraid of owls.
Yeah.
That's true.
So for real question, am I the best driver?
The witch?
That's
The
what?
what?
The beetle cart driver?
Oh,
Oh.
The beetle?
I
I
think
mean,
you're the only insectrist in the party.
yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, well, it's a good thing that me and old Gertie go way back here. I'm just gonna point her down the road. I'm like, okay, Gert, we're going to where are we going again?
Shale
Where are we
sorry.
going again? Owls, Gert. There's clearly owls. So go where there's owls.
Go where there's owls.
Oh,
Gert down the road, and Gert will drive, and I'll doze, and it'll be fine.
I would like to hide under someone's cloak.
I mean, there's generally only room for one under a cloak.
But I'm very small.
I don't know if you're that very small. So yeah, Gertie's waiting out front, and otherwise there's a fairly empty cart. Like there's maybe 5 or 6 days of provision. Like there's some food, like certainly more than you would need for this trip to and from. So the thinking is probably there's extra supplies, but otherwise the cart is more or less unladen, such that you can bring back, like they're deadheading it one way, so you can bring it back full.
Yeah, no, I for real. I jump in the driver. I like complainingly get in the driver's seat. take the reins, and I make like weird mouse mouth noises at Gert that
Yep.
he knows what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as everyone else is settled, we sort of road, and then it looks like I fall asleep.
So is everyone in the cart?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alternatively, do you try making me learn how to drive without telling me what to do?
That's a really
No,
good one.
no.
Yes, this
Devin,
is
don't you have like
driver's
5 in
instruction.
scouting?
Sorry?
Don't you have like 5 in scouting dash?
But I don't know how to drive a cart. Because
Yeah, I don't care. Don't you have like a 5 in scouting though?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you're gonna be out ahead. You're the tenderfoot.
Oh, this is a patrol captain speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably just get comfortable on the cart and
And then Devin gets on and is like, "What you doing there, tenderfoot?"
Yeah.
I probably try cracking some wise ass thing. It's like my feet are tender, and then I'll go scout for real.
Okay.
So so for rolling, I'm rolling the amount I have in my score.
So a scout is adept at spotting predators on the prowl, sneaking behind enemy lines, trailing targets, and finding hidden things. I don't know that that's strictly necessary in a little bit, but I'm assuming you're doing like the dungeon world, like undertake a perilous journey. You're scouting ahead of the cart to make sure that
Yeah.
things are clear. And this road is kind of torn up by winter. So how
I can help you with winter wise.
how good are you at pathfinding?
3.
Okay.
Bad.
So I think this is an obtu pathfinding test to spot something before the cart drives into it.
So am I rolling scout or pathfinding?
Pathfinder. Scout is specifically for like dealing with predators and hiding from them.
Okay. And Mike said something about helping me with Winterwise.
Mhm.
Do I add something to?
An extra die.
Okay.
Can't double up on the wise bonuses, right? It's just once.
All right, so that's 1 out of the 2 successes. So you make it across, and there's like some slightly sticky ground that you don't entirely notice.
Yeah.
And I mean, it seems fine. Like you've dealt with worse. You're a nimble, tiny little mousy scout. Carts aren't nearly so nimble or tiny.
Oh, was I supposed to add nimble to that?
Possibly.
It's a thing you can choose to add.
Well, I guess I wasn't actively thinking about being nimble at the moment. So.
Well, that and I think it kind of worked against you a little bit, or it could have. But yeah, Gertie is going to plow straight into some mud
Okay.
and get a little stuck. It's not too much work to get her out, but one of the 4 of you loses their temper in doing so.
Ooh.
So who marks the angry condition?
What's the angry condition do?
Angry is -1 disposition for any conflict. It doesn't, like, the penalty doesn't matter. But it's a condition that kind of sucks.
Oh no! Is it like Tales from the Loop, like the injured, hurt? Or...
Similar. It's not -1 die, it's -1 to certain things.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But injured, specifically the injured or the sick conditions in this game are minus dice.
Okay.
I mean, when the cart jerks in the mud, I imagine Angus sort of sits up and then like lurches forward, and then stands up and is like swinging weapons around, looking for things, shouting the names of big scary animals.
Owl. Oh, Graves.
Foxes. Always the foxes.
You just stand up straight and you scream moose.
The moose is my white whale. I've never killed a moose.
Cool.
I can be angry, although it doesn't really seem like my relationship with Dash or that I would be that bent out of shape. But I mean, I could take the hit. I'm not
Well,
not proud.
does Devin get angry because this is a snag?
Yeah, but it seems like I shouldn't be angry at the first time the tenderfoot screws up.
It could just be
pretty
you're
shitty leader.
angry for Gertie getting stuck because
Well, and like
you have a relationship with Gertie.
it takes like time to get out of this. Like it's a couple hours.
Can I be angry at Gertie? Gertie and I go way back, and she should know better than this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Gertie, what are you doing? I swear to whatever mouse god there is, that we cannot deal with this right now. There's owls, Gertie. There's owls.
Yeah, and you're sitting there like in a fairly open path.
Yelling for moose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like on the ground, like poking Gertie with the back end of my spear, like yelling at her like a crazy old man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Happy.
Crazy old man yells at Beetle.
Awesome. All right, so Angus is now angry and having a hard time calming down because this fucking beetle is so old, and like the cart takes all of 20-30 minutes to get out of the muck. Gertie is the thing that takes the next 2.5 hours.
Well, because Gertie knows me and knows that I'm mad and doesn't want to come out of the mud.
Yeah.
She knows that she's safe in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Is part of the reason Angus is angry at Gertie is because she's so old. He sees a little bit
Yeah, a little
of
bit.
himself.
Yeah. like there's like shades of senility in the issue with Gertie, and he's not liking that at all.
Well, like that's an actual psychological effect where like things you don't like about yourself that you see in other people make you angrier.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
That I can't remember the name of. Cool.
I'm so happy to have played a part in this.
But yeah, I mean, you lost like the 2-day estimate might be pushed out to like 2.5 at this point, but
Oh no!
Yeah.
That makes the time way back.
yeah. And like I'm assuming like a note on the map to be like, there's mud here, we should probably avoid it.
Ah.
Okay.
Wish somebody would have told us about that beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the
stupid
mud
maps.
is like. I like how the mud is our biggest adversary at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the world of Mouse Guard is adorable and trivial and also horrifying sometimes. Cool. So progressing further into this like early spring forest, there's still snow on either side of this path, and there's a couple places where like a rivulet has carved its way through the forest trail, but it's not. Nothing else really slows you down. Angus, how dozing are you?
Like on the cart.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, with one eye open, I'm still alert. Like
Mhm.
I have the alert trait.
Okay.
But like
Yeah. I mean,
like, if I hear
there's
the whippersnapper or something, something's wrong.
there's nothing else for the day. Where do you make camp? Like just off to the side of the path, or?
I feel like I'm probably too paranoid for that.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously Devin's call, but like, unless he stops me, I'm going to pull Gertie way off the path into good cover.
I mean, it's not.
Half an hour or so of extra travel.
So it's not super necessary, right?
I feel like Angus could easily convince both Dash and Devin because of owls.
Well, I'm like, oh,
there
it's
are owls.
okay.
Well, shit, we're gonna die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's definitely owls. We need to be safe from the owls. We need cover, especially at night, you guys, because owls come out at night.
Cinder, is that true?
Probably-
Like, yeah, they're nocturnal, but I'll see them if they come.
But they won't see you.
They won't see me because I have a black coat.
It's true. You blend in.
I do.
Cool. Okay. So how does the night camp go?
I sleep through it.
Yeah, I probably try falling asleep before Angus because I imagine he snores really loudly.
Almost certainly.
like a detailed camp with like a watch list.
Hmm.
I'm an old mouse, so I'm probably up like every couple hours.
Tweeting. Tweet.
I'm still growing, so I guess I really need all that extra sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I can take like first watch or something if we're putting any watches out.
Cinder,
Yeah.
you can probably take most watches being like a night murderer.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll just take care of something if I hear it.
Okay. The woods definitely seem spookier at night, but the night passes fairly uneventfully. Far enough off the beaten trail that it's going to take a bit of work to get back there. And Gertie just seems like a bit off today.
Is there any reason?
Someone's gonna have to roll insectivore.
I mean, yeah, I can take a look at Gertie.
I mean, so Insectrist will work. Scout might be applicable, depending on who wants to try to figure out what has caused unrest in the beetle.
Well, I would have assigned Dash to like feed Gertie in the morning.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Gertie's not eating the beetle meal.
Not the beetle treatle.
Mm-hmm. Beetle treacle.
So, sorry, am I doing scout?
If you want.
Okay, cool. What are...
This is probably... I think this is Ob 3.
yeah.
But you probably get a bonus because you're deep in the woods.
I was gonna ask if alert would help at all.
What is the text on alert?
I don't even remember what page the traits are on.
They start on 256. Alert. Most of the residents of Elmos earn their keep as harvesters. They scour the surroundings. While at their labors, they must remain on alert for predators and bad weather. Okay. Yeah, you can totally add a die from alert.
Okay, so...
So it sounds like 5 or 66. Nice. Did I say 2 or 3?
You said 3.
Okay.
I don't know what ob means though.
It's the number of successes you have to get.
Okay.
For obstacle.
Yeah.
Oh, duh. Okay. So I don't.
I mean, yeah, it's not a duh situation. This system has some weird terminology in it sometimes
Yep.
that you absolutely have to have explained to you before you understand it because it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I don't get it because I'm one short.
Yeah, so Gertie's just old, and as demonstrated yesterday, old things are ornery and prone to
Yelling.
yelling and just being spooked, like, disproportionately. Yeah.
Maybe we give it oats.
Yeah, it's oatmeal.
Right.
Cool. So it's another couple hours on the trail. And Gertie's just getting worse and worse. I think you're like maybe a half day outside of Shaleborough.
Mm-hmm.
And effectively Gertie has refused to go any further.
Mm.
And I think just out of shot, like the camera starts, like the camera's like off in the woods somewhere, right? And we're looking at you through some trees, and just out of your sight line, there's a few like snow white feathers resting on the snow. So no one's been able, that the scout wasn't quite able to pick up on.
Yeah.
Is it nighttime still or is it morning?
We're back to the day.
It is daytime.
Yeah.
It is daytime.
Right.
But daylight is fading fast. Like, it's been probably a bit of time that Gertie has refused to move.
Okay. Well,
Taunt on Gertie. Hide inside.
What?
Wait, say that again.
Did you say hide inside Gertie?
Okay.
I said I tauntaun Gertie and hide inside.
Yeah.
And you thought she smelled bad on the outside. Huh.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Turns out Gertie was a stink beetle.
Oh.
No, a dung beetle.
That's too shitty.
Yeah, we gotta get this beetle off this road because it's real bad.
Well,
And
with
you-
my battlefield lights, would I be able to like pick out the safest spot?
We don't know
feel
that
that
the
we're-
owl. We don't know that the owl is there.
Yeah. So, like, the players know, but the mice are standing out in the open.
Right.
It's about a day's walk, or was a day travel by cart? How long do we think it would take us to get to our destination?
If you leave Gertie here, it's probably only a couple hours to Shelborough. She's not the fastest beast of burden in the fleet.
What if I
We
pushed
need
her?
her because we need her to fill up the cart.
What if I pushed her? And like use my laborer to like
Yeah, you
Can I
could
do that?
you could try to get her
Push the
moving.
cart.
It's gonna be difficult. But like getting her moving, like forcing her, or at least getting her started. Yeah, that could work.
I could
I
try.
would like to assist.
Okay. Are you also laboring at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, is that 4 or 5?
So Dash gives you a die.
Alright,
But
so
not
that,
you, is there a limit?
I think only one person can help.
Okay.
And then
That would make sense.
yeah, I think helping is one person, but if you want to throw in a wise, you can.
Oh, I don't really have any. I mean, I've got backcountry or whatever wise.
Ooh,
Yep.
so you
wait.
could
Not a
direct us in the right
predator?
path.
Oh, yeah, I have an idea. Wait,
Pushing beetles and mudwise.
Country wise, I mean, this is shit that happens in the wild.
Can I add you
yeah.
back for that?
What's up, Dash?
Oh, I was gonna say maybe as Angus offers to help Cinder, I probably throw out Legends of the Guardwise and start talking about old shit that Angus used to do.
Well, you just
Angus used to be able to push beetles and
No, you don't talk about Angus. You talk about Gertie.
Yeah. I'm
Forever.
encouraging Gertie.
Oh, I see. Is
Uh-huh.
that 5?
as
That's 5 dice?
so you're getting so one person can help with a wise, and one person can help with a skill.
Okay, so I have 3.
If
I have 3 for laborer.
so, if Dash is helping with laborer, then that means if you screw up the roll, then I get to hit both of you with rolled up newspapers.
Okay.
But Angus is
what's the
shielded.
greater than?
Uh,
What's the greater than?
So it's always greater than 4,
I see.
and you're getting 2 extra dice, and your obstacle is probably there. You go,
Nice.
nice, yeah, cool. So you
Gotta
you
get that.
so you managed to get Gertie rolling again, and Angus, like you can tell, she's kind of pissed off, but she realizes she doesn't really have a way of winning this fight, and like every 5 seconds, she's just clicking to keep you awake.
Damn it, Gertie. He has to be arrested by the time we get to town.
It has been 30 seconds since your last notification.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a whistle.
Uh-huh.
Just to yeah.
Little chirp every couple of seconds.
Cool.
Great.
Um,
Every time she does it, I'm going to poke her with the back end of my walking spear from the cart.
This is why she stopped in the first place.
Yeah, but no, this is the Cold War that we're in all the way to.
And I thought you were worried about the owls.
I am, but I'm an old man, and I don't brook this kind of treatment from my beetles.
as you start getting closer and closer into town, like it seems like this is the furthest a cart has gotten so far, at least from the east. There's a couple carts that have been sort of like tied up to a post, but there are no beetles around to speak of, and the streets of the city of Shaleborough seem deserted.
No.
Like it's pretty, like there's a few signs of life. Like there's a couple footprints in the mud that Dash you pick out pretty easily.
Hey, Dash, go check it out.
Dashing on ahead.
Okay.
Dash is ahead.
No, dashing all the way. Anyway,
This
So-
sounds like a scout.
Man, we should have named us Prancer and Vixen and Donner.
Okay, so I'm gonna run around knocking on doors. Anyone have
So are you yeah, so if you're knocking on doors, that sounds not sneaky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so like
Probably
are you
sneaky.
going to be sneaky or are you going to be social?
We're gonna be sneaky.
Okay.
Cause I'm thinking about Liam. I'm thinking about the fact that the streets are empty.
Mhm.
And
there's like a bunch of carts, like there's a few carts that actually have goods on them.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Barkstone is famous for, but there's basically like a cart with Pebblebrook stuff and 2 carts with Barkstone stuff that you've tied Gertie up next to.
Okay. Is there any wises that people can share with me before I go off? Or, I guess.
I only
you
have
looking for
like Nightwise would be the only one I'd be able to share. But I don't know if it's nighttime yet.
It's dusk. It's
Guess
getting
it doesn't
there.
apply yet.
What is
Sounds
Dash?
getting real low. What am I looking for? People.
Give you predator wise to look for signs of owls.
Well, I guess that would work.
Or any predator.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I imagine that I like one of the few things that I say to you that have any value probably relate to predators. So like, this is what your training amounts to: is me occasionally throwing wises, like predator wise.
Keep an eye out for any shimmering effects, like it's hot outside.
That's how you know Nova's around.
If you see 3 red dots appear on a surface, back away quickly.
Never go for a weapon if you think they're close.
Open
I
mud,
guess it's gonna
so they
say
can't
something
see
like
what their
"Don't get eaten," like just something incredibly unhelpful. Okay, so I am scouting.
Yeah, and this will be ob 2. So you're looking for 2 successes.
Cool.
There you go.
Nice.
Crit fingers.
So there's a few sort of like points where like the footprints all seem to sort of converge. There's a couple like houses and domiciles that seem abandoned, but still sort of maintained. Like it's and there's like the berry fields where they grow the berries to turn into berry wine. There's still snow in them, but it could have been cleared away. It just hasn't been. So I mean, it seems like there's a good number of people who should be here who aren't, and no one is like doing the labor that should be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell like one of the buildings, because no one is from Shilborough, right? Yeah.
Oh.
So one of the buildings is sort of like a mayoral estate.
Dash would learn.
I probably relay the information that it looks like people evacuated midday, like just while they were doing whatever.
But you didn't find like any notes or anything?
No, I don't think anyone had time to write down they were leaving, sir.
I mean, surely somebody left a forwarding address, so to speak.
Oh, and there's also carts full of supplies tied up next to Gertie.
No, I probably relay
Yeah.
that too. It's like they wouldn't have just left this.
Well, for starters, let's hitch up all the supplies. Sounds like a secondary objective that we could get lauded for.
Isn't that stealing, sir?
No, it's repurposing. We're here for supplies. There are supplies there.
The guard is also like the closest thing to like a state.
Yeah, that sounds like mutiny.
I'm
And
sorry.
here you go, guard mouse.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is civil forfeiture.
Yeah. That's fine. Nauseous Fashtopia.
Yeah. Yeah, Devin is the Captain Phasma of mice.
Okay, anyway.
All right, cool. So, Cinder, we'll leave you here to move all the stuff to another because you're a laborer. You're
Okay.
good at that, right?
And then a keening cry of an owl waking up. Although it doesn't sound like it sounds muffled. Like it's not coming from the forest. And it definitely sounds like it's coming from inside Showbro, but like where and how? Doesn't
Could
make a
I-
lot of sense.
I guess I'll get like that already.
Yeah.
Can we convince ourselves it wasn't an owl?
I'm not convinced.
Angus, that was an owl.
That was
Devin,
definitely an owl.
that was probably not an owl.
My instinct activates, and I startle towards the violence, and I sort of turn in the direction of the screech, and start waving my spear and axe again. Be like, dash, get to cover, dash, get to cover now.
Dash is already hiding under curtain.
Yeah. And I'm out like slightly in front of you. Just to
Dash,
kinda-
what you need to do now is you need to cut Myrtle in half.
Apparently, I'm the guy at the end of midway through Starship Troopers who's like walking in the street. There's no owl here.
I'm definitely in owl fighty mode. So yeah, I will find the most defensible position and then like try to draw the owl towards me because that's what I do.
How do you draw the owl towards you?
Out barely coherent old manisms at it.
Could I like do something like? It's a battlefield now, I guess, right?
Yes.
Because we're getting ready for battle. So
I mean,
can
you
find,
tell me,
like-
does this feel like a battlefield to Cinder?
It kind of feels like we're beginning a battle. So I'm going to look for the best vantage points to
Yeah.
start this battle, to like the best defendable places. Kind of know where my comrades are. So if something were to happen where the owl would come out through them near them, that I could charge over there to protect them,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Cool. Places that you want to be when an owl is nearby is generally under something, and so there's like a few.
Can I like grab Angus by the cloak and then just like bring him with me? I'm sure he
Drag
won't,
his frail old man
he won't
body.
listen to me, so I'll just drag him over, and it's probably time sensitive. So
Angus, can she lead this horse to water?
Yeah, I'll allow. In Angus's head, Cinder's one of the next generation, right? So like, I need to be near her to help her do this thing because clearly Dash is just ow, and
just go on. You don't even know where
Cinder's
Dash
the one
is.
that's going to be doing the actual fighting right now.
Yeah.
He's a Dash by example, but I can be there as like an actual physical thing to help Cinder.
And Dash, you've got the wolf snout trait,
I do.
so you smell like ink or something on the air. And Dash, you see a couple people come like scurrying out of the that mayoral estate. And at first you don't quite recognize them because they're running around on four legs.
Yeah.
But they're not wearing like clothes like mice do. They appear to be wearing feathers. They've got like
God.
feathers.
Owl cultists.
Damn it. The only thing worse than an owl is the mouse has deceived themselves into thinking they were an owl.
And they seem to be like running out trying to find people. So how well hidden are Cinder and Angus?
Well, with my battlefield knowledge, I think we're pretty well hidden.
Cool. Where's Devin at?
I mean, I feel like denial is probably the safest course of action here.
Okay.
I mean, it's either denial or fleeing, right?
Yep.
My instinct to run is to run.
Yeah. So yeah, if
So-
you want to run, you totally can, and you can roll your mousy nature and probably succeed.
out.
Or, I mean, what does denial look like?
I mean, is there someplace vaguely like safe? There's like a hole nearby.
I mean, wherever Cinder went, because she seems to know her shit. That's probably a good place to be. Alternatively, you could try talking to these people, because they are mice.
Well, I mean, I'll talk to the mice, but I want to do so from a place that looks like it's not open to owl strikes.
Okay, so you went with Cinder, or do you
It's-
dive in there now? We get a shot of your little wriggly tail, like scooting under a fence.
Well, it's like tree. There's like buildings and stuff, right?
Yep.
So like, by the doorway to a building, like try to talk to these people.
Okay.
So that I can
Everything's fun.
like dive in through the window if I'm house.
fine.
If it,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, or you could get inside one of the houses. And I mean, like,
someone in the houses and flag the mice down. Like, what the hell are you doing?
okay. What do you mean? Where are you? Who are you? How did you get in here?
I mean, we walked.
And you weren't murdered by her?
No, we're
Then you've been chosen like us. One of Sharp Talon's favored.
no. That sounds like heresy.
Oh God, this is Mouse 40K. That just happened?
Yeah. I picked up my bolter and I pointed at the deserter.
Yeah, you're a commissar now, Devin.
Merged.
Like, well, if you're not chosen, then you must be food. And like the second owl mouse, barn owl mouse, snowy owl mouse, licks their lips a little bit.
Oh God.
You know what? You look like you could really use a bath, and you guys float in like a saltwater pool. I did this once at a spa. It was real great, and you could calm down and not eat mice because that's insane. And maybe we can like offer you some lovely honey, and
I think he wants to be Stu with that talk of salt water. Yeah. It's been a while since I had Stu.
okay. You know what? So actually, what happened is there's a giant battalion of freshly shorn, fresh nubile mice up the road, and what you really need to do is go after them because they're the tenderest,
Oh, man.
most tasty kind of mice.
Also, yeah, Stu was the deputy mayor. Or the former mayor.
Yeah. So really, with this, and then let's go get them.
So is this sounds like manipulator.
Yeah.
Are you trying to like get them to leave town with you? Like what does success look like?
Well, success. It looks like they run off in a direction that we are not.
Okay.
Yeah, we're from Thistledown, and if you take the North Road, you'll find this giant caravan of freshly shorn soft mice. Fresh for the fed nothing but honey and butter.
How willful is a cultist?
Any bonuses for being nega wise?
A manipulator uses lies, half-truths, ugly truths, soothing platitudes, or intimidation to get what he wants. Manipulator is used in versus tests against your opponents. Manipulator, persuader, or will. Okay, yeah. So I think the cultist has a will of 3. So what's going to happen is you're going to roll some dice. You're going to roll your manipulator. I'm going to roll the will of a cultist, and 2 of your successes count for 1 of mine. Because you're rolling a skill.
Can I tag leader to inspire them forward in my falsehoods?
Not really, but if anybody wants to help you with a thing, does anyone help Devin lie?
I don't think we're like near.
Are we
the
even there?
close
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dash could be. I figured Dash is wherever
Yeah.
Dash wants to be right now.
Yeah.
dashing about the battlefield.
You're trying to tell them about a town?
Well, just
I'm
like
trying to send them away from us because they're dangerous, and we don't want dangerous things around us.
I mean, I do
So-
have Persuader.
so are you like talking as well?
Yeah, I'm probably trying to like back him up.
Okay. All right.
That's what I roll.
Your manipulator plus 1 die, and then you want, yeah, basically you want at least 1 success. You got 4 successes on 4 dice.
That was pretty good.
I actually thought Andrew's role was Mike's at first.
No, I'm the adversary.
I know.
So they just totally believe you.
Yeah.
They believe anything. They believe anything.
It turns out being a cultist isn't great for critical thinking skills.
Just tell them something they
Embrace
believe in.
Lord Sharp Talon.
Yes.
you-
Did I tell you that was her name?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the Lady Sharp Talon.
Yeah.
How Mike's the cult leader? Is that how that works?
I mean, could be.
Right. If they find nubile shaved milk and honey mice to the north, perhaps. But they won't. My goal is to be gone from here by the time they return.
Right. So yeah, I think. Did you hear that, Brother Boros? Oh, what a lovely day! And then they go running off up the path to Thistledown on their own.
I would like to, kind of hastily say some sort of prayer to any mouse deity there might be.
Yeah, I mean your prayer goes unanswered, but maybe maybe Dash feels a little better.
Yeah.
And there's another one of those like keening squawks of an owl waking up, hungry.
Yeah, so fine. So do we want to like check the mansion, or do we want to like
I have a feeling that's where the owl is.
probably? But we need a beetle, right? Because this beetle's busted.
Gertie isn't broken; she's just afraid of owl.
Yeah.
By the way, while we're outside, could Cinder try to position Gertie in a way that the owl wouldn't see her?
Yeah.
Throw some tree branches over Gertie.
Just so to kind of protect her, so she's out of she doesn't get taken away.
Throw a
Um,
blanket over her.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure owls eat beetles. I don't know.
not generally, but this is a hungry owl.
Yeah, I don't want to take the chance.
I'm trying to figure out what this might be. Might be hunter, or it
Survival?
might be survivalist. If you've got that, that would be the one.
Owls totally eat insects.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Snowy owls.
I imagine so.
Of the various owl varieties, the ones that live in areas too cold to support insect life probably eat insects the least. But I don't know if that means that they won't eat insects at all.
Yeah.
Different owls do.
I have a survivalist of 2. Would that be 2d6?
I think you can just do it. Like, there's no immediate time pressure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you're able to jury rig some beetle camouflage.
But it doesn't like stop her from moving if we need to like make a quick getaway.
Yeah, no, I figure you just like slather her with some mud and like twigs and whatnot, and just like
Predator style.
yeah.
She probably even likes it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a mud bath for Gertie. Her old bones,
Her old.
her old exoskeleton.
Gertie and I are friends now.
Yep. Yeah, she actually seems fine with you. Like, if Angus came over, she would probably get all, ornery again, but they have that effect on each other.
But at least she has a nice
Great
relaxing mud
Yeah.
bath.
And then there's like another one of those keening, screeching cries. And I think this is the point where Sharp Talon finally starts muscling her way like through the walls of the mayor's abode.
I just want to know how she got in there to begin with.
Yeah.
I
By the
mean,
way, I've taken Angus and hidden
okay.
again.
And one of the owl's like wings seems to be all busted up.
Ooh.
Oh, good.
So
Fight it on the ground.
she doesn't seem to be like moving and is definitely, yeah, not at all using or moving her left wing.
But she's still struggling free of the house and like
Yeah.
So has Cinder finished
weirdly
moving
owl
over all
crawling
the
towards
supplies
us.
What's up, Devin?
yet? Has Cinder finished moving over all the supplies yet?
I think she was distracted by the call of the owl
So I seen the owl walk out of the mayor's house.
through.
With hat and monocle.
Through. Like, wasn't inside, just was on the other side and decided, fuck it. I'm basically a kaiju.
True.
No, she even makes like a roar.
Oh, yeah.
Walk, walk.
Whatever the Mothra noise is.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I kind of like race over
Mhm.
as idly as possible to check on Cinder's product, getting all the stuff over.
Cinder.
I've probably done some of them.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, you've probably got, like,
Yeah.
the more valuable thing. So, the way you see it right now, Devin, is you could get back, and you would get, like, a solid C on this assignment. Like, you got acceptable, you came back, everyone's alive, and you've got, like, you know, a nominal quantity of supplies, but more valuable at this point is definitely the intelligence you're coming home with.
Okay, but like, how do we get the whatever the S class?
The A plus. Yeah, it's going to be getting like most, if not all, of those supplies.
Okay, how do we do that?
I mean, you tell me.
I mean, Cinder didn't move everything over. I mean, that was like far away and stuff, right?
Would the owl be
Do
able
you,
to?
remember, do you remember how slow it was getting here with Gertrude?
Yeah.
So we're saying is you're not outrunning it.
Even
I
a
think
wingless
we have
owl
to
was
kill the
going
owl.
to catch you
I
like a
don't think
T-Rex
that's
from
happening.
Jurassic Park and eat
Although
you
she
off
can't-
that cart.
She can't fly. It seems like,
I mean,
but
Tyrannosaurus Rexes were actually quite slow, and we could have outwalked them. But
Anyway, I think we had to kill the owl.
okay,
I
Yes,
mean,
and the cat too.
was that? whoop.
sorry.
That's an amazing sound for a cat. Like I just opened up with ranged weapons and volley and like fall back and
I mean,
like, we
I
you
have-
houses is
I have a bow.
the owl is an impediment. You tell me how you choose to solve it. There's also a number of villagers who ought to be here who don't seem to be.
Would the owl see me if I was to like continue loading?
They have pretty good vision.
Yeah.
Like, would I be behind something?
I
don't
think
think
you
that
would
would
be
actually matter.
you would eventually be discovered, and it wouldn't be very long.
Right.
So
The owl.
Yeah, you
Distracted.
hold on, what is it? What is it to overcome my nature?
I mean, by default, you just do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take the first shot at this owl.
Okay. That's a hunter action.
I have 0 in hunt.
Good. That means you're rolling health,
Oh, no.
and each of your successes count half rounded down. So if you get 2 successes, then you get 1 success. If you get 3 successes, you get 1 success.
That was a lot of dice.
Let me figure.
Before she makes that roll, is there anything I can do if she fails?
I would kind of prefer your assistance beforehand.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not sure where you are at this moment, but I would be happy to lend my.
I'm just near
assistance.
a house somewhere.
Okay. Funny enough, I actually have that blade helmet, so if he does try to like pick me up, he'll probably end up like.
I was
Nice.
definitely thinking of that when you're just like, yeah, I've got a fuck off big rhino blade helmet. I'm like,
Yeah, why not? I figured it's probably a great idea, so like I could even like headbutt him if he tries to get too close to me.
Okay, so I'm rolling health.
I
Yeah.
will help whatever I can.
What was
what's
that
up,
sound?
Angus?
What? You cut out.
You can't. Yeah, I can't hear you.
God damn it. Can I see Dash from where I am?
Yes.
Aim for the eyes, boo!
So here's the problem with rolling health. Because you're an untrained hunter,
Yeah.
you can't get help from skills.
Okay.
What about wises?
Nope.
Yeah.
Wises
Oh.
are skills. They just also happen to be wises.
Okay. Great. Oh.
So people are trying to help you, but you are too untrained to be helped.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be ob2 to avoid like immediate repercussions, and shooting it will definitely piss off this owl.
Okay. Cool. Here we go.
Nice.
Wow.
Yay.
That's 1.5 successes
Yeah. Yeah. Shit.
because that's health.
Yes, I forgot. Oh no.
So your arrow flies true, and it sort of embeds like in some feathers, or like skims through some feathers, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe you go for the eyes, and the owl does that weird like bird head thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
I probably even make a shout for like this is for Liam.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like it. I mean, it was a good shot. It almost got there, but the owl is just a little too cagey for you, and I think it's gonna come burrowing over to you and injure you.
Great.
Can I be like, oh fuck, and then like
This is
obviously
a consequence, so.
is it I can't do anything?
I mean, do you want to get in the way of this harm?
Would I be able to be like, oh shit, and then just kind of do like my instinct and just like
Yeah.
run to protect my comrade and just kind of like
Yep. You can
when
put
he
yourself.
doesn't see me,
Yeah.
when he doesn't see me, I can like
You will take the injured condition instead.
I'm okay with getting hurt. Like I totally did that expecting no one to back me up. So.
I know, but my instinct
Mm-hmm.
is just to protect you guys.
Yep.
Although if I do that, I won't be able to fight as well.
Mm-hmm.
You will be less good of a fighter, yes.
Yeah,
I think maybe the intention was there. but
maybe
you
like
didn't- You didn't get to me in time.
yeah.
There's no like she's not gonna get bonus like Artha for charging out because it's her instinct if nothing happens, right?
Right.
Okay.
And we're also not going to do Earth at the end of session.
Okay.
No, I just because I'm trying to think like yeah, but you could totally still act on your instinct and like
Right.
put yourself in a massive amount of danger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
So yeah, the owl
I guess.
barrels into Dash. How do you get out of like certain death, Dash?
I'm nimble as fuck.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like charging in behind the owl.
Would you like to do something to this owl?
I would.
Mess
How-
it up.
I would like to mess it up. Can I like stick like if he's like right there? Can I like stick my halberd right up into him? From
You can
underneath him?
certainly try.
Okay. How do I roll that?
I mean, I'm assuming you want to try fighting.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's let you try fighting.
All right, so it's a 46 and greater than 4.
Greater than 4, let's aim for 2 successes net, and if anyone wants to help, Jesus.
yeah, I was gonna say can I throw predator wise at that coaching the youngins
Right.
to fight?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Successes.
4 successes.
So, I mean, you deal a pretty brutal blow to this thing.
I will protect you, Dash.
So, because this is a one-shot and we're getting close to the end of time, I'm going to offer you what is functionally a devil's bargain.
Oh, good.
Do you kill it? And it kills you, or, like, severely injures you? Or
You have a
do you...
healer.
Yep. Or do you simply wound it very... Like, do you simply wound it?
How good is our healer?
What our healer is. Our healer's a 3 dice healer.
Is that good enough? Let's see.
No.
Well, we'll find
imagine-
I'm
out.
probably gonna be stabbing if you don't kill it this turn, right? I'm gonna be stabbing with this many.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I will severely injure the
Okay.
owl.
So it's shitty wounded wing. You just lop that right off. And
Wing
it
taker, cinder wing taker.
it squeals this hideous keening shriek Dash, you're probably still stunned
Mhm.
and like bleeding a little bit, but not,
Yeah.
not mortally
Not as
wounded.
bad or anything.
Definitely not as bad as that owl.
Yeah.
Can I get his attention to lead it away from Dash?
Sure. What do you
I
do?
don't know how.
Or do you just want to like?
Right, like
Yeah.
I light a flare on the road and then like wave it over my head. And
Here's-
hey.
The Jurassic Park thing.
Here's a thing you could do is, well, I mean, so there's that, or you could lean into your mousy nature and just run.
Oh, pre-drive. But I don't think it really gives a shit.
It
Oh, yeah.
would probably like if you succeed, it'll chase you. If you don't, it'll hit Dash again.
Oh, so win-win because I'm
Yeah.
probably fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll lean into my nature.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, roll your nature, and I think this is probably ob 2. Yeah, this is probably just ob 2. There you go. Yeah. So, I mean, what is it about your run that makes you a particularly appetizing owl snack?
I run in like a jagged motion,
Okay.
like squirrels when they're confused, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to like darting from cover to cover.
Yeah.
Right.
And this
It looks like a panic run.
bleeding, and I mean, like, it is a panic run. You just leaned into your mousy nature.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
like I leave like a trail of blood behind or something too, like to make it like super authentic looking.
well, it's like scratches like deep in this like almost frozen earth, and so like there's this flying dirt and everything. And yeah, so this big doofy snowy owl like comes pecking at you, and it like narrowly misses you. You zigs one way, and then you dodge again as you zag, and yeah. And Angus, sweet, innocent, angry Angus.
So yeah, so I imagine if I get to go right now, I imagine that Devin sort of took off running, and I curse under my breath about, all right, but I'm going to take advantage of it because clearly I'm sort of standing undercover
Mhm.
along the path that Devin is running through, and I just am going to hurt the owl real bad.
Okay.
I would like to use, I guess, my old fur trait.
Okay.
I've fought these before, right?
Have you ever? But you have never killed one before, right?
I don't know. I don't remember whether we decided that one way or the other. 'Cause
Okay.
I could use fearless. I could just like straight up fight this thing.
Mhm.
Regardless, I'm going to be straight to my check, right?
Yep.
Can
Do I get to add my own wise?
No.
can I add a wise? Like, as I'm laying in the snow, I talk about previous battles with owls that were had.
Are you?
Could I otherwise?
One of you can add a wise.
Yes.
I think it would be touching if Dash did it to his mentor. too.
Bleeding into the snow,
Yeah.
Okay.
holding your guts in a little bit.
Uh huh.
All right. Yeah.
And I'm just basically like, I tried.
Because if I've never killed an owl, right? Like
Yeah.
Angus is like, this is the time. You can do it, old man.
Let's-
You can do it.
Let's see if you
Good for
can
Dash.
on like 8 fucking dice. Yeah.
Oh my god. What was needed?
Like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I imagine Devin like sprints past and Dash is giving like his thing.
His monologue.
It's very Boondock Saints.
Yep. Just as the owl like rounds the corner, here comes the old man or the old mouse in like slow motion and just sort of like stabs his spear out through the side just in time to catch the owl between a couple of vertebrae.
Oh, it's like in one side of the neck and out the back of the skull, and it's like mid peck, and then like the eyes just like
and the whole thing collapses, and he sort of rolls, or she rolls behind Devin for a couple of steps,
yeah.
and then that's it.
Nice.
And then someone should tell me that Dash is bleeding to death.
Angus, I'm bleeding to death.
You could like you would survive this, Dash, but
No, I'm
yeah.
I probably throw like a bloody snowball at him.
Thanks, sir.
I'm there like just enjoying the moment, like taking it in. You'll ever kill was the coolest thing I've ever killed. And then
It was your white owl.
Yeah.
I get hit in the back of the head with a bloody snowball.
Yeah.
It's all right, Dash. You can ride in the cart on the way back for a little bit before you go scouting ahead.
Thank you, sir.
So we should probably are we gonna prologue this like us putting the town back together, sort of, and seeing who's still alive and who needs purged because clearly there were some freaking xenocultists.
Right.
I think you mean epilogue, not prologue, but yeah.
Yeah. We lined the owl cultist up against a wall with 6 Semper Auranis.
They definitely like aren't fighters. There's like a couple dozen mice that were definitely murdered and eaten through the winter. There's
When they come, I imagine them like emerging from the houses after this happened, and Angus is just sort of standing over the alleys, using the spear for leverage. He's got his tiny axe. He's chopping the head off.
No, it's good that you got one too, Angus.
Good. Run.
And I mean, Devin, like you totally got the assist for that. Like that was like you set up the pins and Angus just knocked him down.
I know, and that's what being good leaders all about.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Team effort.
I did not hit the owl. I did not hit her.
Correct.
Okay.
I did not hit the owl.
If you did, it didn't do any lasting damage. So I mean, you tell me whether or not your arrow flew true or
Okay.
not.
Oh,
I have
I mean-
one singular arrow kind of sticking uselessly.
Out of the owl's shin.
With the arrow on the way by.
No, it's already messed up wing.
There you go. And I'm assuming Cinder is covered in still hot avian blood.
Yeah.
She's got the heart.
It's where the courage is.
I need a souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
eat its heart, take its power.
And yeah, there's sort of like a series of tunnels under the town, where there's like stockades of mice. Their food supply functionally, and like enough food to maybe keep the people down there alive a little bit. But yeah, apparently this was a hard winter for Shelborough, and there's definitely no sign of the traders. The traders are like the delivery people from Pebblebrook or Barkstone. They're long gone.
Okay. Well, I mean,
The Northern Lights have seen queer sights, essentially.
Could Cinder suggest to have them come with us so that they can survive the winter? And just give all the food?
It's spring.
Yeah, it's early spring.
Oh, okay.
yeah, but they need the tickets. And we make sure that there's up of supplies. We'll bring them back the owl skull on the way.
What do you do with the cultists that you? I mean, they don't resist.
The owl
I thought they
cult?
left. I thought they ran away.
Two ran away.
Right.
Yeah,
This is a city that got like stir crazy in the winter.
Yeah.
No, the rest we banished beyond the scent border.
Okay, so
That's our way.
do you tell them like you're in exile now, go, or do you drag them to Lockhaven?
I think we really have the resources to properly exile them, so we probably just tell
We
them.
could probably tell them to go and just like really forcefully, because we're covered in blood and stuff, and we have an owl's head. We could probably convince them. Not.
Oh, they are.
Owlhead, tell them.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
beyond the scent barrier.
The GTFO. Yeah.
Hey, here's your sign. The sign says, "Winter was hard, but I ate mice."
Yeah.
Right.
Winter was hard, but I ate my neighbors.
Right. So go show this to everyone on your way west, and Pebblebrook will know what to do with you.
Cool.
Owl along. No, Dash. You say that out loud.
Owl along the watchtower.
It was good.
I'm not a good person.
Nope.
No, it's okay.
Cool.
So few of us are.
So yeah. Do you get the cultists to help load up the carts, or are they just gone instantly?
No, I mean we press them as manual labor,
Okay.
and then I don't have a bolt or pistol or execute them myself.
Right.
Tiny mouse chains. We chain them up.
Oh no, that'd be brilliant. Instead of the labor for the cart, instead of the beetle, you use mice and chains.
That's probably like barbaric.
Yeah.
That is.
I'm like kind of against that, I'll say, because, guards honor. Guards honor.
We are super 40K right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lay in the cart and try not to think about dying.
Convalesce.
Well, I mean, like the cart is rapidly filling
I know.
with supplies and other injured people.
Yeah.
If
We
we
could probably
kept
take.
them,
We could take the other carts that were there as well.
Yeah.
hop on
There,
them.
there's
Are we
nobody.
taking all of their food?
No,
We'll
we're leaving
take-
the food. We're taking all the supplies.
I thought
It's-
the food
it's-
was what we came for.
We could
Like
take everybody back with us.
berry wine, but the fields are still covered in snow.
Oh.
And also taxes. They hadn't paid their taxes.
Yeah.
Right, so we're gonna take money and wine and leave the food and an owl skull.
We're gonna leave the owl skull.
No, we're taking the owl skull.
Oh, okay, good. Because I'm not leaving that thing. I
Cool.
want to take part of the wing. That's my trophy.
It's just
Do you invent chicken wings?
Hey, my name
The
isn't
whole
Cinder
owl
for
by the time we
nothing.
get home. The owl's a snack
it's
at this
the
point.
boat, right? You just tie it across your shoulders.
Cinder's
We're willing to eat each other. I'm pretty sure.
Cinder's original hot wings.
Every game we invite in chicken wings has to stop.
Yes.
Are mice cannibals?
They definitely can be when pressed.
Yes. Cannibalism can occur in nature for a variety of reasons. In most small mammals, cannibalism is likely to occur.
Yep.
Well, that's
Cannibalism
great.
family.
Yeah, it turns out nature is not necessarily all fun and games. Cool.
There, that owl had a really shitty couple of weeks, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the bit where Gertrude stopped, essentially like if the original scout check had passed, there would have been like an owl crash land site. But
Wait, these guys dragged it to town.
and nursed it back to health and worshipped it as a god.
Wow.
I forgot to describe like it was
Owl.
painted essentially like in inks and berry, which was the ink that Cinder smelt with the wolf snout.
Exile
Oh,
was too good for those mice.
Yeah.
I mean, they went a little stir crazy. They got a little hungry.
Have eaten the owl.
that's true.
Cannibal fever. Instead of regular old cabin fever.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, that's probably enough for tonight. But let's briefly address people's goals, and we'll do this in alphabetical order. Angus, how do you think you did in your goal?
My goal was to teach Dash how to fight predators, and Dash just blew that one. It was just.
I'm afraid of owls and I shot it anyway. I shot first.
Okay, so I guess it depends on how we're interpreting. I guess it depends on what "how" means in this sentence, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
how could be the means by which you fight predators, or it could just be the ability to attempt to fight predators.
Mhm.
And so in that case, yeah, Dash did all right.
Okay. So yeah,
Did I
what
impress you?
what would Angus call that?
At least she tried, which was better than I kind of expected.
Well, he tried. World's okayest scout.
World's okayest scout.
Cinder.
C plus dash C plus.
My goal was to leave no mouse behind.
Mhm.
I think I did that with like running in for dash just to make sure.
I have an ethical question here for you.
Okay.
Are those cultists still mice to you?
I don't think so because they, guards honor. Should a
So
mouse
does he
ever
know?
betray that trust, he is cast out of Lockhaven and perhaps the scent border. So for me, they are no longer mice.
Nice.
They
Once you
are
beat a
they are
mouse,
lesser
you're-
lesser than mouse. So they don't deserve my instinct to protect my comrades.
Cool. Brutal. I like it.
Yeah.
Next up, I believe we have Dash. Impress people,
Yeah.
mostly Angus.
Impress people.
I mean,
So yeah, let's go over Dash's major accomplishments tonight. She got the cart stuck in the mud.
I realized
She
that
died
earlier
fighting an
I
owl.
didn't write down as we were discussing them.
Mhm.
But I mostly wanted to prove that I was worthy of, getting a cloak later.
Angus, are you entertained?
She didn't find the owl in the house.
I mean, I give Dash a C plus for effort, right? Like,
The owl. So, an owl has 7 dice in nature, and one of their things that they can do with their nature is hide in plain sight. So it's just like, fuck it. The owl is standing in the backyard and no one can see it.
Blending in with the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
House camouflaged.
when I was scouting, I was looking for people. I wasn't really looking for the owl. And I found signs of them evacuating.
So, Angus, were you impressed?
I mean, I think the kid actually taking a shot at the owl and then getting wrecked for it.
But living?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That whole
survived
thing,
only
like-
because I'm nimble.
I imagine that like both Angus has both seen people do worse than that on their first time out, and also like probably had something similar happen to him very early on. So like this is a normal trajectory for him. He sees Dash doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because I'm supposed to be your replacement.
Angus, have you taken similar injuries to Dash in the past?
Oh yeah.
Do
Oh,
we
yeah.
get the shot of like you stitching up Dash lying on the cart and you're just like, oh, it's not that bad. Look, I've got one, and it's like the opposite direction but the exact same wound.
And then I tell her about the median number of limbs that you walk away from.
But, sir, you have all 4.
I've been very lucky.
Uh,
I'm really good.
Do
at
I?
Sir, you said my friend was lucky too.
Devin,
Build my resume. Get promoted. I'll have Meredith's job soon.
do you think this is this would get you bumped up, or at least build that resume?
Yeah, I got this in spades, man. They said, go figure out what's going on in Shilbro. And not
And bring
only
back
did
an
my
owl's head.
entire crack team of mice with a tenderfoot, who had never seen an owl before, let alone fought one, survive. We killed the owl. We brought the beast down. We bring you a skull to adorn the Lockhaven guard quarters of to make shields and stuff with.
There's a giant pike in the center of Lockhaven that this owl's head is resting on, and it is very Onyxia's head in World of Warcraft.
I was just
And,
gonna say
underneath it is a
Dragon
plaque
Ball.
that says courtesy Devon and Company.
Yeah.
Devin and friends.
Right. This is unqualified success.
Okay.
I believe that a couple more missions like this, and they'll see that Devon is a patrol leader that
Gets
everything done
awesome.
and survives.
Yeah.
Barely.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a wrap there. Night, everybody. We have been that D&D podcast. I'll throw this up on YouTube shortly. And check us out. We try to stream Tuesdays, Thursdays. We also have Twitter and maybe a Patreon. Who knows how that shakes out in a bit. But yeah. Night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
Internet.